San Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime years.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
What's up, San Diego? And a happy Monday to everybody out there in America's finest city. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant, and we are the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fans. Good to be out there talking with you guys again after taking Thursday off. We were all together, collectively off on Friday as we had Padres baseball against the Boston Red Sox. I am back from Boston after watching the Padres take down the Red Sox on Saturday. Got to watch them take down the Red Sox on television, on my phone, driving back to the airport and in the airport on Sunday. But I have to say, for the longest time, Frank, I was one of probably the only people that got to say that they saw the Padres see all three of their wins until they won on Sunday. But you know what?
There you go.
I'll take that at this point in time. They take 2 out of 3 from the Red Sox. I had a great time. A big thanks to Frank and to Scraby doing a great job on Thursday, holding things down. Sounded like you guys had a great show. Sounded like a lot of people enjoyed it as well, which is awesome. I got to watch some of it on the plane ride out to Boston, or should I say out to Atlanta before Atlanta to Boston. Man, that flight back is long. It's like 6.5 hours gate to gate. It's 9 hours to get from JFK to Rome. I mean, I might as well just fly to Europe at that point. I mean, it's crazy how long it takes, but makes a lot of sense. We had some crazy headwinds too, so it kind of slowed us down a little bit. We got in late last night, but so many Padres fans, not only on the plane ride home, but throughout the trip. And that's kind of where I want to get to today with a couple of different things. But let me tell you something right now. This past weekend in Boston, that's what a season feels like. Not a game, not a moment, but that's what a season feels like. Because through 9 games, I'm gonna just say right but too early, maybe. Padres are exactly where I told you they'd be through 9 games right now. 4-5. Second place in the National League West, hanging around while they figure things out. And I'm not guessing here. I literally went through series by series before the year and mapped this thing out to a 91-win season. And guess what? Through 9 games, they are exactly on the pace that I had. Now, 4-5 is not a pace to win 91 games. They're going to have to play better ball throughout the year. And I think there's times on the calendar where those things are going to play out for the Padres. But they're in the exact place I thought they were going to be going into Pittsburgh. Now, how they got here is a little bit different, okay? I thought they'd win 2 out of 3 against San Francisco. I thought they'd lose 2 out of 3 against Boston. I had them losing 2 out of 3 to Detroit. Does it really matter how we got to this point? I thought they'd be 4-5 to start the year. But this series in Boston, I think this series was a little bit about their identity. Because coming into Boston, what were we saying? Offense, lost. Bullpen, a strength, but maybe not being managed the way us fans would like. The rotation, question marks, all over the place. And the manager, as we talked about with Craig Stammen, guys learning on the fly. And in game 1 against the Red Sox, what did you get? Well, you got the same thing. You saw the first, I don't know, however many games that was before, 6. You got the same thing. You got a solid outing from Michael King. You had a Wandy Peralta experience go completely sideways. We've seen that already too many times. And you lose a game you could have had, and it feels like, here we go again. But then something happened and something changed. And I got to paint the picture for you because I lived it this weekend. I'm in Boston with my family. We're staying in Back Bay. We're walking the Freedom Trail, hitting every historical landmark you could possibly imagine. And I swear to you, every 15 feet on this, and we did this on Friday, Opening day for the Red Sox. Not a lot of Padres fans went to opening day. I don't blame them. That's a game you didn't really want to go to anyway. Plus, you have to pay opening day prices for another team's opening day. I could see why not a lot of Padres fans went to the game on Friday. But I tell you what, every 15 feet I walked, I had over 22,000 steps on Friday, on Good Friday, walking all over Boston. Padres fans were everywhere. We went to the North End and got some Italian food for lunch. Padres fans at the restaurant we were at, waiting in line for the restaurant we were at. Random bar off the street, walking by the Boston Commons, Padres fans. Fenway area before the game, Padres fans. And at one point, over the weekend, I heard a Red Sox fan literally say this. Why the bleep are there so many Padres fans here? Why the bleep are there so many Padres fans here? And I'm just smiling, thinking you have no idea what this team is becoming, what this fan base is becoming. But then when you get to the game, it's freezing cold. I'm telling you right now, it was frigid. For anybody like, I'm just gonna say this, because I see a lot of people that on social media after Saturday's game when Roman Anthony tripled down the line, like, oh man, Fernando, he's just lollygagging out there. It is freezing. It was 41 degrees at first pitch, and it felt like 36. And I'm going to tell you how cold it was. Most people in Boston Red Sox gear were miserable and were saying how cold it was at a baseball game. I'm telling you, it was like playoff football cold. I think most people thought for some point in time they were at Gillette Stadium. And early on in game 2, were going through a lot of the same issues. Offense was inconsistent. Lineup decisions were questionable. I mean, I went on the Fenway Park tour, a lot of Padres fans, and we got the lineup after the tour. By the way, I will say this. During the tour, we did the tour in the morning. The Padres were out there earlier than regular batting practice, getting extra work in. Manny was out there. Cronenworth was out there. Andujar was out there. Campusano was out there. Some of the few guys that I physically saw. And they had been working by the time that we did the tour. So I don't know. I think Xander Bogaerts was out there as well. But they were out there getting some extra work in on offense because it was bothering them, obviously, that they were not performing. So for anybody that says they don't care, they were out there in 30-something degree weather getting extra offense in. And they were just taking hacks just to take hacks. They were working opposite field stuff. They were going through their usual extra work. And I knew it was extra because not everybody was out there. And I knew it was extra because guess who wasn't at the ballpark? Dave Marcus was not there. I texted him. He had nobody from the radio or TV booth there at that point in time in the morning. But at the conclusion of the tour, the lineup came out after the loss that they had the day before. And I looked at it and I get, I'm sorry, who's batting third? Miguel Andujar is batting third? And no Jackson Merrill again? I literally asked the question, what are the Padres doing? And then the game unfolds. And it comes down to the moment. Fernando Tatis Jr. had 4 strikeouts on Saturday. 4. I mean, he's getting crushed by social media. They're questioning his effort on that play. Roman Anthony's triple. Like questioning everything. This guy doesn't care. All this other stuff. And what happens? 9th inning, 2 outs, 2 strikes. It's a tie game. And he absolutely laces one to center field. That's what stars do. They can be bad all night, but when the moment shows up, they show up bigger. Then right behind them, red hot Ramon Laureano comes through with a clutch knock to drive him in, and that's ball game. You want to know why it's ball game? Because you got Mason Miller coming in the bullpen, out of the bullpen. You give a Mason Miller a 1-run lead, a 2-run lead, ball game. It's over. Padres fans flooding the streets of Boston after that one, and that's when you felt it. This team might be figuring something out. Game 3, I think, was a statement win for the Padres early in the season. Because when Sunday happened, I think it really calmed some of the nerves of a lot of Padres fans. Because this is where it becomes real. You fell behind 4-0. Walker Buehler, not good. Walker Buehler looked good early, and then he looked very bad right after that. He goes 2 scoreless innings, and then it's just complete fall apart. Bullpen gives some back, and everybody's probably thinking the same thing. Here we go again. But not this time. this time they fought back. And I thought you saw some of that grit this weekend from the Padres that you didn't see at all at Petco Park. Jackson Merrill set the tone. He was aggressive with his base running early, brought life to the dugout, hit the go-ahead homer of the Green Monster. I mean, that place, Fenway Park, is baseball history, and Jackson Merrill, he's making it his playground with the outings that he has had at Fenway Park. Then you got Manny Machado, 3-run bomb, leadership, presence. That's your guy. That's the dude who reminds everyone in the clubhouse, we're fine, just follow me. I mean, that was a huge home run for the Padres, and they answered. It's so important to answer after you give up a 4 spot. They answered with 3 back, made it a 1-run game. And this is the most important part of the entire weekend. Every time Boston scored, as I mentioned before, the Padres answered. That had not happened in the first week of the season. They were folding, they were pressing, they were waiting for someone else to do it. Not anymore. This weekend, they passed the baton, they stayed in the fight, they showed resolve. And the bigger picture takeaway, as you zoom out now on the Padres to start the season, they're 4-5. That's exactly where I had them. They've struggled offensively, but you're starting to see better at bats. I mean, you started to see the Padres hitters the last 2 days grind out at bats. They've had some bullpen hiccups, but you still trust the back end. And Craig Stammen, yes, he's made mistakes, but guess what? I don't know how many times I got to continue to say this. He's adjusting and he's learning on the fly. And you know what he's also doing? He's not afraid to make adjustments and to play with his lineup and to play with different situations to try to figure out what works and what doesn't. That's a lot better than maybe a guy that's stubborn, set in his ways and go, we're just going to keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. That's what you want out of this manager. And let me say this about the fans because I think this matters. What I saw in Boston for a small market team, that's not normal. It's definitely not, didn't used to be normal for the Padres, but it might be the new normal of the Padres. That's not a fan base that hopes to be good. That's a traveling, growing, believing fan base. And here's the truth. Boston fans, they were envying that all weekend. They were envying the talent. They were envying the energy. They were envying the expectation. They're sitting there looking at the Padres like, I wish we had that right now. I'm going to tell you, they said it. As we're over here nitpicking every little thing, the Red Sox, now granted, they are the worst team in baseball right now record-wise. They wish they had what the Padres had. So, look, there are issues, yes. The offense, still inconsistent, but I think it's growing. Bullpen roles still settling in. Rotation still has massive question marks. But guess what? Every team has problems right now. The difference is the Padres, well, they're starting to show you how they respond to some problems. This weekend wasn't perfect, but it was something more important. It was a sign that this team is adjusting. It was a sign that this team is growing. It was a sign that this team is learning how to win. And most importantly, they're right on track. So as they head to Pittsburgh, yeah, it might be tough. Yeah, history says it won't be easy. Yeah, Paul Skenes is awaiting their arrival, but don't panic if it doesn't go perfectly, because the big picture, it's exactly what we thought it would be. And if this weekend showed you anything, it's that this team is just getting started. I think that's the main takeaway out of this series for the Padres. I think you got to see some of these players really step up. I think you got to see this team show what they are capable of doing. Yes, they still have many problems, but I think they're starting to grow into the right direction. Now, here's the other thing, too. As I mentioned before, because they're 4-5 on the year, we're exactly where I had them at. I had them before the season started losing 2 out of 3 to Pittsburgh. So before anybody thinks that losing 2 out of 3 in Pittsburgh is going to be a massive problem for this team, just be prepared. That's where I had them at. I had them at 5-7 coming home to take on the Rockies. That's where I had them at. And I still had them winning 91 games. So even though it's a tough start to the season, even though they are playing in certain areas that have not been good to them, they have been fine. They're right. They are exactly where we thought they would be at this point in the season. And I'm going to tell you what, as somebody that watched it live, and a lot of Padres fans that watched it live, you could see the adjustments these guys were battling a lot more than they did at Petco Park, which is encouraging. What I saw this weekend, I thought was very encouraging. Now, from watching on TV, it might have looked a little bit different, but from my perspective, Frank, as I kind of wrap up my opening monologue and we kind of discuss what happened over the weekend before we dive into it a little bit further in the next segment, my biggest takeaway from this weekend is Craig Stammen is adjusting on the fly. He's making the adjustments. He's not sticking with his ways. The process is starting to play out for the Padres. They saw good starting pitching. They saw great starting pitching. They saw lousy starting pitching. They had some issues with the bullpen. There's still a lot of things working out for this team, but I thought this weekend to start the road trip is a step in the right direction after what was a rough homestand to start the year.
Yeah, for sure. And you had a couple of close games. You had a couple of close battles in there. You had the game on Saturday where you win it 3-2. And then you have the game on Sunday where you not only won it 8-6, but you also got an added run in the ninth inning. You were able to add on and make that save opportunity a little bit more comfortable for Mason Miller. Manny Machado had a big day yesterday. Jackson Merrill had a huge day yesterday as well. Miguel Andujar on Saturday going 3 for 5. Gavin Sheets looks like he's coming around finally. So, I mean, it was a very, very good weekend. Michael King threw into the 6th inning, something also you really want to see after how much time he missed last year. Randy Vasquez.
We haven't even talked about Randy Vasquez yet. Randy Vasquez was awesome.
Yes, he was incredible.
Awesome. Again, I know it's early. I know it's been 2 starts. What did we say about Randy Vasquez when we were at far corner?
He has the potential to grow into the ace role this year.
Yes, or at least in one of the top 2. I mean, he is doing exactly what you were expecting like Nick Pivetta to do to start the season, right? As your ace. And here's the reality. Like, I want to talk more about Randy Vasquez when we come back because I didn't get to spend any time on Randy Vasquez in the opening segment. We got 4 hours here to talk about Randy Vasquez and other parts of the Padres. What I want to say about Randy Vasquez is when you look at the rotation, yes, you want to try to put it into the order that you think is going to be 1 through 5. But if your ace doesn't pitch at a high ace level, but you have somebody else doing it, you're still getting the contributions. Does it really matter who's doing it in what particular order? You need somebody to put up ace-like stuff. Randy Vasquez, through 2 starts, has put up ace-like stuff. He has. He's been fantastic. Whatever he had done and he has worked on with Yu Darvish has paid massive dividends. Craig Stammen is letting him pitch deeper into games. He is working his way out of trouble. Sure, he still walks some players, but I love... He
only had 1 on Saturday.
Which is a way better adjustment than what he did in the first game. I love what Randy Vasquez has done this season for the Padres. And when we come back, we're going to talk more about Randy Vasquez as an outing and his outing that he had on Saturday. We're going to talk about the Padres Red Sox series. We're going to get your phone calls, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Off and running on a Monday, Padres and Pirates later on this afternoon. We'll talk about that later on in the show. But Randy Vasquez turning into what has been a very big addition to this Padres team. We'll talk more about him when we come back. $10:24 on a Monday, talking Padres baseball. Man, is it so much better talking about a Padres series win? Are you kidding me? Oh, my God. I thought we would never win again. When I left on the trip, I just thought, like, is the Padres ever going to win again? It seemed like it was never going to happen.
Now, looking at this logically, as we like to do on this show.
Why didn't you play the "to be fair" bit?
Because I didn't say it yet.
Oh.
Looking at this logically, as we like to do on this show, the Padres are 1-0 in series when you're not in San Diego.
Sure.
So if you wouldn't mind taking a road trip these next couple of days.
Well, I could have gone to Pittsburgh, I guess. Oh, you know what? Here's the other thing. I ran into Charisma from social media.
You found some, huh?
Charisma was able to. She saw me walking around, so I took a picture with Charisma and her husband and her family. They're in Pittsburgh. The Padres are also 1-0 when Charisma is on the road.
Okay.
In series, so maybe that will help out with this Pirate series.
Maybe.
And if it doesn't, let's not blame Charisma for that. It won't be her fault.
No, it'll be your fault.
Yeah, apparently it'll be my fault. I really wanted to keep the whole thing with with our guy who has more experience managing because he manages Sportsplex softball teams. That bit was going crazy. It would have been great if they swept Boston just for that. Guys, yet to see the Padres win in person. I've seen the Padres win 3 of their 4 games in person. You guys are welcome. You're welcome, America. I wanted to put that out on Saturday. I wanted to do that on Saturday. Like, hey, have no fear, Padres fans. I'm going to the game Saturday.
I am at the game.
I have seen all their wins in person. You guys are welcome. Nah, it's not. It doesn't matter. It's just fun to talk about. Now, I will say this. I did think they're going to lose 2 out of 3 this weekend. I did think they were going to lose 2 out of 3 this weekend at the beginning of the season, but I had them winning 2 out of 3 against the Giants. It's kind of a wash. They're in the exact same spot they are now as I thought they would be through 9 games. That being said, I also think they will lose 2 out of 3 in Pittsburgh going into this at the beginning of the season. That's what I said. And we'll see what they do against the Pirates. It would be nice to kind of build off of it. I mean, if they go 4-2 on this road trip after going 2-4 to start the season, they're 500 through their first 2 series. It's fine. You're going to play 500 ball most of the year, and you're going to go on a winning streak. So what happened last year, did it not? The Padres just decided to have their winning streak at the first week of the year. What they go 7-0? What they go 14-3?
Something
they go
like
14-3 in
that,
their first 17 games.
Something along those lines.
That was the streak that got them in the playoffs, and then the rest of the way, 500 ball. You're going to see that. You're going to see that out of most teams in Major League Baseball. They're going to play like 500 ball. By the way, we went from being the worst team in the National League after Friday's game to now being in second place in the National League West.
Not leading the division.
Huh?
Dodgers don't count.
They're on their own thing. I agree. Yeah, we own the National League West now, not named Dodgers. The Nationals knocked them around a little bit. Knocked around Sasaki a little bit. Are you kidding me?
Like, isn't it funny how sometimes the best signing you make is the one you don't make? Could you imagine if Roki Sasaki had signed here and was doing this?
Yeah, because the Dodgers can buy the way out of that problem. The Padres cannot buy the way out of that problem. They'd be in a massive world of hurt if that was the case. I saw somebody on social media go, this guy's going to get picked off. This guy's going to get picked up by the Padres when he gets DFA'd, isn't he? It's possible. I can see that. You know what? Ruben Abel's did a good job with a lot of these guys. We're going to talk about the pitching in just a second. Do want to get to your phone calls, though. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let's get out to Ramona. Mike in Ramona wants to join the show. What's going on, Mike?
Hey, Braden. Good morning. Hey, just 2 things. One, if the Padres are smart, they would extend Mason Miller like they did Merrill to a club-friendly contract. Because if they don't, when he come, I think they got him for 2 more years, this year and next year. But whenever he's up for free agency, the Yankees or Dodgers, their GMs are seeing those Instagram videos of him every day, and he'll be the highest paid reliever in MLB. if we don't do that now. And now would be the time, because he's going to be the best reliever for years to come in MLB. And something else, I would, one, if we don't get rid of Wandy Peralta, I would not bring him in unless we're up by at least 4 runs. And his ERA is very deceiving, because what it doesn't account for is when he comes in and there's a couple guys on, and then they score, it doesn't count against his ERA. It's the poor schmuck that got pulled for him.
Well, yeah, but those are those guys' runners. I mean, it shouldn't be. Those guys get charged with the runs because they're the ones that allowed them on base, which is their fault. You don't want to give up those runs, Frank. Don't let those guys on base, and you wouldn't have to worry about it. But
yeah, exactly.
Let me talk about a couple of things that Mike brought up, and I appreciate the phone call, Mike. One, they don't have to do that yet, Mike, when it comes to Mason Miller. They have Mason Miller for the next 4 years. This year and 3 more. They have him until he's 30 years old. This is his age 27 season. They have him for his age 28 season, his age 29 season, his age 30 season. He becomes a free agent in 2030 when he's 31 years old. So you don't really have to do that yet.
Did you see the way that slider was moving yesterday?
No, but I saw it in person.
Oh,
and
dear.
it was disgusting.
It was unbelievable.
Here's the other thing you need to know about that. If it looks like that on television, it's wicked, brah. It's even crazier in real life.
He threw a slider in the middle of the Wilson Contreras at bat in the 9th inning that started on the inside part of the plate and ended in the far batter's box. It was nasty.
Now here's
how much that slider was moving.
Here's something I find interesting though too, and maybe this is just. I have a feeling. I don't know the exact numbers on this, and I'm sure maybe it's been different, but I feel like at least at the games that I have watched, which is most of the games that Mason Miller has played in, and I mean in person, he starts everybody off with the first pitch slider. It seems like every first pitch is a first pitch slider. And I almost feel like, teams are just so set on trying to time up his 100 and whatever mile an hour fastball that the slider catches him off guard. But even if they're sitting slider, that thing is moving so much that I don't know how anybody hits it.
And it's such a departure too, because his slider was as low as 85 yesterday. And then you get ramped up for 102 right after that.
Oh, by the way, he threw a changeup a couple of times at Fenway. I'd never seen that before, and that looked disgusting. Well, how about this? He came in. I'm watching the game, trying to close this thing out. Super stoked after Tatis doubled off the wall, and then Laureano. I mean that was their best win that they had all year. Now that was only their 3rd win all year, so it's kind of it's easy to compare.
Also catching Aroldis Chapman on back-to-back nights as well.
I mean, Tatis was down 0-2, or he was down to 2 strikes and 2 outs in the 9th inning with nobody on base, and he had an absolute missile to center field. Which, by the way, this is how dumb catch probability is. That is 65% chance of being caught. Did they account for where Ceddanne Rafaela stood? I mean, he had no chance of catching that ball. So he doubles, and then they get him in on the Laureano bloop shot that just goes over the shortstop, whatever. And Mason Miller comes in, and I'm watching. And I'm going to tell you right now, it was so cold, everybody's velo was way down compared to, where it was at. And so Mason Miller, he's hitting 100, whatever, but he's throwing a lot of sliders. And then it said 96 mile an hour changeup. I'm like, 96? And that's your changeup? That's disgusting. That's disgusting. So Mason Miller, they don't need to make a decision on that yet. Plus, if I'm Mason Miller, I'm not signing anything yet. Absolutely not. Not where I'm at right now. He's making $4 million now. I mean, he could probably make it another 2 years before having to make a decision on anything. You want to buy him out of arbitration? I don't even know, he's making enough in arbitration now that it is even worth buying him out of arbitration. I mean, he's getting $4 million right now in arbitration. That's going to go up. I mean, it's not like he's making league minimum right now and he can use $4 million and it's team friendly. I mean, he's going to make some pretty good money in arbitration. So I don't think that's a decision that needs to be made yet. Now, the decision about Wandy Peralta. I'm glad Mike brought it up When we come back, and I know we wanted to talk about Randy Vasquez, we're going to get to him a little bit later. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to table the good Randy Vasquez talk, and we're going to talk about the Wandy Peralta situation, the Wandy Peralta experience. A lot of fans don't really like the Wandy Peralta experience. We're going to discuss what the Padres can do when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, Settings Number Sports Station 97.3 The Fan. I haven't even talked about that yet. We're broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and locally each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. If you haven't done so already, we really appreciate it. If you guys jump on YouTube and go to youtube.com/@B_SURP and give us a subscription. Again, it's free to do. It doesn't cost you anything. It's super simple. You go to the website, youtube.com/@B_SURP. And right at the top, you can hit subscribe. We are, what is that? 81. We're 81 subscribers away from getting to our 1,000 mark that we're looking for. We're looking to get to 1,000 subscribers. It's our next threshold that we want to reach. We're getting really close. Thank you to everybody that has already done that. We really appreciate it. We're up to 919 subscribers, trying to get a couple of more, obviously. Get us to the 1,000 mark. If you haven't done so, it's super easy to do. Plus, we have tons of extra content on there for you sports fans in San Diego that might have some niche sports love. We talk about the San Diego Gulls. We talk about the NHL, the NBA, the NFL in the offseason. We give our takes on UCSD, USD, San Diego State. We have it all on there. We have San Diego FC videos on there as well. So for everything that we do not have time to cover on our show, it costs you nothing. It costs you nothing. And you go on there and you hit subscribe. And then when you watch on YouTube, because here's the other thing too, a lot of people do this at work. It's great for anybody that doesn't have a radio. If you're driving around, you love what you're listening to, you know, you can listen on the Odyssey app. You can listen to us in podcast form, or when you go on to work, and a lot of you guys have multiple screens at work, it's fine. Maybe at your home office, whatever. There's a couple of ways that you can watch us and listen to us in the background. You could, on your desktop, pull us up, leave the audio rolling, have us in the background. Easy to find us on YouTube. youtube.com/@B_SURP. And for everybody that works at home, you can throw our stream on your smart TV. Super easy to do. I know a lot of people that do it. It's awesome. So you could be working at home instead of putting the nonsense that's on television right now. Nonsense. That's not even talking about San Diego sports. Flip it on your smart TV. And it makes it a lot easier to go through. You know, you have to go through and like, all right, well, let me type on my little Amazon, at my Amazon Fire Stick remote, and I have to go try to find this. If you subscribe to us, it's already there. So when you log on to YouTube, you just click on the YouTube app on your television. We're going to be right there already. If you already hit subscribe and you're logged in on your YouTube on television, it's great. It's easy to do. It's and it gives us an opportunity to show our content even more. So have us on in the background while you're working. It's great. A lot of people do that with the radio. If you don't have a radio and you're like, where's all my millennial, Gen Z, Gen Alpha out there? Now, most of the Gen Alpha are still in school. They're watching on their iPads right now, not paying attention in class. Pay attention in class, kids. Watch us at lunch. Watch us throughout the day at recess or whatever. Your break. We got to call it break in high school. We're too cool for recess in high school. But anyway, I digress. Give us a like on the video. We appreciate it. If you're watching on 97.3 The Fan, you can also access us or at least subscribe to us if you go to the 97.3 The Fan YouTube page, because at the top of the screen, you can see everybody's show and the show sites that we have. You go to youtube.com/@973thefan. You scroll down, it says our shows, and you can subscribe to Ben and Woods. You can subscribe to us. You can subscribe to Gwynn and Chris, Sam Levitt, Matt Scraby. It's all right there. So not only does it help us by subscribing to us, but if you subscribe to the other shows, all of those shows and all of their extra content are right there when you log on to YouTube. So also, if you haven't done so already, subscribe to Ben and Woods, Gwynn and Chris, Sam Levitt, Matt Scraby. You'll be able to get a lot of extra content. I've seen that we have now gotten up to 923. We appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. It's awesome to see you guys supporting us. We really appreciate it. It goes a long way. Shout out to the people on the airplane on the way home yesterday that gave us a shout. Frank, love listening to the show. Appreciate you guys, and anybody that might have said hi during the time in Boston. So want to get that out of the way, a little housekeeping there. We're going to continue to remind people as much as we can. Again, today is the day that we post a lot of our stuff. We got membership opportunities too. We record a lot of different videos today that are only out for members, and then they slowly get released to the general public. So appreciate you guys doing that. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973 if you want to join the show. If not, you can leave us a comment on YouTube. Again, we really appreciate that. All of our guests join us on the SDCCU fan hotline. And coming up in just a little bit in the 11 o'clock hour, to start the 11 o'clock hour, we're going to get Alex Stumpf on. He is a writer for MLB.com who covers the Pittsburgh Pirates to preview the Pittsburgh Pirates series for the Padres. That will be a fun conversation in the 11 o'clock hour to get you ready for the next series. But as Mike and Ramona called in about, he talked about Mason Miller and, he actually thought that we only had 2 years left. We actually have more. So good news to Mike. We don't have to make that decision yet. But Mike's on the right track. He doesn't want to see Mason Miller never not be a Padre, right? He wants to see him be a Padre for life after seeing all of what he has been able to do and how much money it's going to cost the teams that whoever signs him out of free agency. The other thing, we talked about the situation that was with Mason Miller. If you missed any of it, go listen back on Odyssey, on the Odyssey app or on YouTube. Anyway. The other thing that Mike brought up, and it's something that we didn't really plan to talk about today, but I do think it's a glaring issue right now because I do think it's a very trending topic, Frank, and that's the Wandy Peralta situation. So let's discuss the Wandy Peralta situation. I don't want to get into Yuki Matsui yet because he's on a rehab assignment right now. He's not even part of this conversation yet. But let's talk about Wandy Peralta. Okay, last year, you and I, Frank, agreed that Wandy Peralta was better than what I think a lot of people were saying he was.
If he didn't have that one bad outing in New York where they forced him to eat it, then his ERA would have been a lot better.
His numbers were not bad. This season, his numbers are not great in 5 games. But to me, I just think the usage of Wandy Peralta has been too much this year. And I don't know if it's a little bit more on the sense of, Jason Adam is not back yet. And so Morejon is now being pressed into being the, really the setup guy. He's not that late inning guy to face a lefty that he was before. And I think Adrian Morejon is going to be the guy that's kind of like the utility member of the bullpen. But you kind of need a lefty in high leverage situations to attack lefties. Now, I don't think that's Wandy Peralta. Okay, so here's a couple of things. For anybody that wants to see Wandy Peralta designated for assignment or taken off this team, because you got to make a move for Jason Adam when he comes back, which should be, today? Tomorrow? Wasn't it today or tomorrow? He's eligible to come back. He's on 10 days, right? So he's got to, after the conclusion of this game, he could be back in Pittsburgh, which it sounds like he probably will be. We will keep you updated if we see any other news on that. But that's where we're kind of at with Jason Adam, which means you got to make a move in the bullpen. Now, I think the logical move that a lot of fans aren't going to want to, really is Bradley Rodriguez is probably the guy that's getting sent down, would be my guess. Now, I did see on social media some people throw out the idea of, you could however today goes with German Marquez, you could theoretically DFA German Marquez, and then you could carry an extra bullpen arm for, whatever, for the next couple of days. And then when Matt Waldron comes back, who's expected to come back soon. Then you can make the move to send Bradley Rodriguez down. So there's a lot of different scenarios you can throw out there. But one of the situations is, potentially just parting ways with Wandy Peralta. Now, Wandy Peralta, let's just kind of break it down from a logical standpoint. Wandy Peralta is owed $4.45 million this year. So he's already he's already probably made however many thousands of dollars in the first 10 games, whatever it may be. So you're going to have to pay the majority of that, and you're going to have to pay an additional $4.45 million next year. I mean, you're going to have to roughly give the guy $9 million to go away. Are the Padres in a position to do that right now? And that's the big question. Like, to me, I don't think if Wandy Peralta continues to pitch like he has done in the last couple of games, which has been not very good, if you want to go down the path of Wandy Peralta getting designated for assignment or getting cut from this team where you have to pay him to not play on your team anymore and you have to eat the money, to me, the only time that makes sense is maybe after the trade deadline of this season, because at that point, you're paying him $5 million to go away, roughly. I'm just trying to do math quickly in my head. I think that's pretty close, because around the trade deadline, they've played almost 70% of the season. 60, and it's more than 50%. It's like 65 to 70% of the year. So 70% of the $4.45 million will be off the books. You have already paid him at that point in time, and so you owe him, maybe $1 million, maybe a little more or less than that, on top of the $4.45 million you have to pay him next year. So then you would be making the decision of, is it worth it to just pay Wandy Peralta $5 million to go away? Can the Padres afford to do that for next year and potentially pay Wandy Peralta next year on the books $4.45 million to go away? That's kind of where we're at with this particular decision. I think it's still early in terms of a knee-jerk reaction to potentially part ways with Wandy, but I do think it's probably time to stop using him late in games as a lefty. Because if you look at his numbers and opponents' OPS against Wandy Peralta since, in the last 3 or 4 years, lefties have actually hit Wandy Peralta a little bit better than righties have. Now, that being said, I'm sure he comes in to face more lefties. So with any particular type of statistic, you have to account for those situations because every situation is different. But I don't think you can use Wandy Peralta in high leverage situations. I really don't. If he's going to come in and mop up, fine. If he has to come in because other guys have been used, I think it's okay. But I just feel like, Frank, they've used Wandy Peralta a lot. And it might be time to change his role, especially since you have to pay him to be part of this bullpen.
Yes, and I think a lot of it has to do, obviously, with the big elephant in the room, which is the fact that you're missing one of your top guns in the bullpen. And because of that, and because of the close games that you have played, Padres have 4 wins. Mason Miller has saved all of those. So the fact that you're in high leverage situations constantly means that you're pulling from your high leverage arms constantly, which means Adrian Morejon is getting in earlier to put out fires or to throw extra innings as compared to what you would want him to do in a blowout win scenario. So, and because Morejon is being leaned on as much as he is, now you're left with no other option if a left-hander comes up later in the game when it's still close because you couldn't add runs on. That leaves Wandy Peralta at the back end. So it all comes down to the fact that you're missing Jason Adam right now as your back end really stopper for this bullpen.
And well, here's the other thing too. And Go Aztecs in the Twitch chat brings up a good point. Again, we also broadcast on Twitch, by the way. What you can't do, because I think you have to be a little patient with Wandy Peralta being part of this team. Again, last year he did not pitch as poorly as I think a lot of people did.
Correct.
And here's the other thing too. Is he good right now at stranding inherited runners? No, he's not. But at the same time, you need these guys to pitch, and they're part of the team. Now, I will say this. If and when Yuki Matsui comes back, you cannot have Matsui and Peralta both be the Achilles heel of the bullpen. Not with the amount of resources you have in the bullpen, not with how good this bullpen is, not with some of the players that have been better than those two particular players that don't have any options left. At that point, you're going to have to eat money and just realize this was a mistake signing either of these players.
It's probably going to be Peralta because I believe he doesn't cost as much.
I think they cost. Yeah, I mean, it might be. It's pretty much the same though. No, it's not. You're right. Matsui costs way more than Wandy Peralta.
Again, you were expecting him to be your closer.
$5.75 million. When we come back, a preview of the Pirates series. We'll get back to this conversation later. 11 o'clock on a Monday morning here in San Diego. We getting ready for Padres and Pirates later on this afternoon as the Padres continue their road trip after taking 2 of 3 from the Boston Red Sox. We are broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. And alongside Frank Marchese, I'm Braden Surprenant. Joining us now on the SDCCU fan hotline, it's not Big Bank Banking, it's better, is somebody that covers the Pittsburgh Pirates. He writes for MLB.com. He is the Pittsburgh Pirates beat writer. His name is Alex Stumpf. He joins us on the Braden Surprenant show. Alex, what's going on? How is your Monday going?
Doing well. How about you?
I'm doing well as well. I mean, we're talking about a Padres team that finally got their first series win of the season, taking 2 out of 3 from the Boston Red Sox. Pirates off to a pretty decent start as well. Obviously, the expectations have changed a little bit, but I do want to ask you just to kind of get this thing going before we dive into the Padres and Pirates version of this. I thought the Pirates offseason was a lot of dangling carrots, a lot of, maybe pretending to spend money before a lockout might be coming. I know it's kind of a heavy way to start this interview, but based on the offseason for the Pirates and some of the talent that they have, some of the young talent, and where everything is at with the Pittsburgh Pirates, how did you evaluate their offseason? Do you think they're trying to spend more money on a roster? Do you think it's a little bit of gamesmanship? How would you evaluate how the Pirates got ready for this season?
I had a conversation with team owner Bob Nutting on Friday where he talked about there was a heightened sense of urgency, a large part of the foundation that they built with guys like Paul Skenes, a guy like Bubba Chandler, who was one of the top pitching prospects of the game, with Konnor Griffin, the top prospect of the game. They needed to feel like they had to have a foundation to invest more. They did bring in some players with some 8-figure salaries, like Ryan O'Hearn, Marcell Ozuna, Brandon Lau, and O'Hearn and Lau are a big reason why this team is 6-3 right now. They've gotten off to a very good start. So we'll see. I do get the cynicism of it's like, wow, that's a lot of extra money being spent right before a lockout, though.
We're talking with Alex Stumpf, who covers the Pittsburgh Pirates as we get ready for Padres and Pirates later on this afternoon. There are a lot of connections between the Padres and the Pirates. We're going to get to those in just a little bit, but the Pirates sit at 6-3, off to a great start to the season. Obviously, Paul Skenes did not have a great outing on opening day. Didn't get a lot of help in the outfield either. There's been a lot of social media posts about O'Neal Cruz out there in center field. Traditionally a shortstop. What has that transition been like? How has O'Neal Cruz improved over the first couple of games of the season?
I thought in 25 he was taking pretty good steps defensively out in center, and I have not seen that so far this year. It's been a weird regression to watch. The bat's been really good. He's leading the National League in home runs, so he's finding a way to produce. But I'm kind of shocked just, the angles that he's taking, having some trouble tracking some fly balls, having trouble just calling off corner outfielders at times. So I don't know if this is still just growing pains. This is technically his 3rd year of playing center field. He's had 2 off seasons to do that now. We'll end up seeing, as the year progresses. But yeah, it's been a weird regression, it looks like, so far, by opinion.
What about, let's talk about Paul Skenes. I mean, obviously the outing didn't really go the way that he wanted to on opening day. Didn't get a lot of help. Again, not really errors that could have helped his ERA. Really bounced back in his second outing. What has Paul Skenes been like in his first couple of outings after coming off of an appearance in the WBC? I know a lot of rumors are always out there about, pitchers that pitch in the WBC getting off to slow starts. What have you seen out of Paul Skenes up close?
We obviously came up. We heard about the splinter. We haven't seen a whole lot of those this year. We haven't seen a whole lot of sliders, a whole lot of sweepers. It's been a lot more fastball changeup, which the changeup last year, the hitters didn't hit real well. I think it was a 103 batting average against. So I get the mindset of let's see if we could up that pitch a little more. But I think he needs that east to west in his game also, because so far this year, that opening day start, a lot of that was because of O'Neal Cruz in center field. But his start in Cincinnati, his last time out, wasn't really up to his standard either. So I'm keeping an eye on him right now. I mean, I would be very hesitant to say slump or anything. He did get out of the gate the absolute best last year either. So maybe it's just you just take a couple starts, you get a feel of what needs to be tightened up, and then you roll. Because we all know, like, he's got a tier that not a lot of other pitchers can reach.
We're talking with Alex Stumpf, who covers the Pittsburgh Pirates for MLB.com, joining us on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not Big Bank Banking. It's better to listen to the Braden Surprenant Show on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Obviously, a lot of we've talked about the young talents with this Pirates team. Heading into this weekend, you got to see a new player, Konnor Griffin, and you wrote about how aggressive the Pirates are being with Konnor Griffin's call-up. No real safety net, no fallback plan. How much pressure is actually on Konnor Griffin right now to produce? And is this more about development or, maybe a sign of we got to get some guys up to this major league team to be competitive?
I think it really was what makes this team as the best that it can be right now. And after not, acquiring an infielder on the left side of the infield, they fell short on Suarez. It really did become Konnor Griffin. So I don't know if this is going to be the absolute best for his development. There are some things that he needs to grow on, in my opinion. I think everyone would say that. And I'm not saying that he can't continue to develop at the majors, but I think there are going to be some growing pains, some bumps in the road that come with this first season. We'll end up seeing. But, it was a move that was made to try to help the 2026 team to get be competitive as quickly as possible.
We're talking with Alex Stumpf, who covers the Pittsburgh Pirates for MLB.com. He joins us on the Braden Surprenant Show. Alex, let's talk about Ryan O'Hearn. I mean, obviously, he was a member of the Padres in the fall of last year. He was a big trade piece for San Diego with Ramon Laureano. Ends up signing with Pittsburgh at a pretty good deal. In your conversations with Ryan O'Hearn throughout spring training, what was the big reason why he wanted to be in Pittsburgh? And it's obviously working out for him so far. I mean, you mentioned it earlier about how much of a factor he has been in the Pirates and their great start to the season. What was his decision process like in becoming a Pirate?
Well, a big part of it to start was he was close with Brandon Lau, who he knew in the AL East. Pirates acquired him within the week of him signing with the Pirates. So he saw that trade and he's like, okay, this is a team that's serious about 2026. And he wanted to compete. So it was, I think, a really good fit, for just the way his batted ball profile plays at PNC Park. And the Pirates needed that type of guy, that type of leader, veteran force on the hitting side of that clubhouse. They didn't really have that last year. He has provided that so far. I think that was enticing for him, of being like, I could go here and I could be one of the main voices in that clubhouse and be someone who could contribute and help the team become a competitive ball club. He did it in Baltimore in 23-24, an opportunity to do that where he could be one of the main characters this time around. So I think that played a big factor. He's been a big reason why this offense has performed so much better compared to last year.
We're talking about a division here in the National League Central where, at least on paper, it's early in the season. I mean, Chicago is expected to be near the top with Milwaukee. Milwaukee continues to just, not add to their team and do extremely well. They're off to a 7-2 start. Pirates and Reds have been the teams that have been young and trying to get their way up in the division. Cardinals at the beginning of the season didn't really have too much expectations. I mean, you could just, based on their offseason, look like they don't necessarily, are playing. They're not really playing for 2026. What has been the outlook? What has been the outlook for the NL Central this year, and where do the Pirates fit in the National League Central in terms of where you think they're going to be?
I mean, I'm of the opinion that until the Brewers are eliminated from winning the division, they're the favorites always. Like, they just have that Death Star in terms of player development and culture and coaching and just doing everything in a team-centric way, that there's a reason why they are perpetually always better than the sum of their parts. And like you said, maybe they don't have the busiest off seasons, but the moves they do make end up having a good impact for them. So I look at them as still the team to beat, but I think the Pirates are at least showing so far that they can be in the mix. They have probably the best starting rotation in the game. They've got an offense that is improving from last year, has a couple key veterans now in that mix. We're going to end up seeing, the Cubs obviously have a ton of talent there. The Reds are coming off of a playoff berth themselves. this is a division that I could really see 4 teams seriously competing for a playoff spot come the end of the year. Like everyone besides the rebuilding Cardinals, I think, is a contender.
Tonight, it's Bubba Chandler pitching for the Pittsburgh Pirates against Germán Marquez, the San Diego Padres. And Alex, Germán Marquez has not been very good in his first couple of outings for the Padres as he tries to stay on this team in the beginning part of the season. As for the Pirates, I mean, Bubba Chandler, pretty good start in his first start. What can you tell us about the right-hander?
I mean, the fastball is as electric as I think a lot of people are going to see this year. He can have some control issues, and I think we saw a little bit of that first start where he struck out 6 but couldn't get out of the 5th inning because he walked, I believe, 6. Didn't end up giving a run, was able to navigate the damage or an earned run, but that's just always kind of an issue with him. Is like, can he just throw strikes, consistently enough? I think his changeup is a plus pitch. Henry Davis, Pirates catcher, who was drafted alongside him, spent a lot of time in the minors coming up with him, said that he thought that it was Bubba's best pitch. That might be something that he uses a little more this time around and, going forward. The slider, it can definitely have that Bugs Bunny action. There's a lot of really good stuff here. He's a pitcher who, if he's not going to beat himself, it's tough to beat him if he has everything clicking.
We're talking with Alex Stumpf, who covers the Pittsburgh Pirates, as we get your preview of the Pirates and the Padres. The last thing for you, Alex, I mean, we talked about a lot of the strength of the Pittsburgh Pirates in terms of a weakness and in terms of, what the Padres have to do to get 2 wins against the Pirates. What are some of the areas that have leaked early this season that might be areas of concern?
For the Pirates?
Yes.
I mean, I would look at that bullpen. Dennis Santana has been really solid so far, but basically everyone else who's in those middle relief to leverage guys has had some ugly outings so far. I mean, they've had some good ones in there too, but they have showed some cracks. So I think the longer these games go, if this becomes a battle of the bullpens, I think the Padres are in a better position. The offense is also very left-handed in terms of its productivity. Like if O'Hearn and Lau and O'Neill aren't going to be going, like there is a path, I think, for starting pitchers to make an impact against them. So whether that's, a right-hander with a good changeup or a left-hander who's willing to work on the inside part of the plate, there are pathways I still see to, slow down this offense. I think that's the path that a lot of teams are going to have to try to take against the Pirates. Try to just keep in the game against that good starting pitching and then try to win it late against the bullpen.
Alex, I appreciate the time, man. A wealth of knowledge. Thanks again for filling in our fan base of what to expect this week, and enjoy the series out there in Pittsburgh.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me. Alex
Stumpf joining us on the Braden Surprenant show on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. A lot of good information out of Alex as we talk about the Pittsburgh Pirates and the San Diego Padres. This will be a series this week for the next couple of days for the Padres return home. But, I think this is we're going to talk more about this series later on in the show, Frank. But overall, as we have a couple of minutes here to kind of digest what Alex talked about, this is a very winnable series for the Padres, but also one that could be incredibly frustrating if they let the starting pitchers settle in.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's what we heard with Alex is, you're going to see Bubba Chandler and Paul Skenes back-to-back days 1 and 2 here. And Mitch Keller was one of the big free agent pieces last year, or one of the trade pieces last year that was really rumored to be going around. So you're going to be seeing some quality pitching as well in this series, and the bats that they've gotten in have been really, really explosive from the offseason.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see. Now, here's the thing that I think should get you excited a little bit, and that is if this turns into a bullpen series, the Padres have a massive advantage because the Pirates have not been that great out of the bullpen, which I think works out very well for the Padres. I mean, I think you have a real clear plan of attack, even though in baseball, a lot of the keys to the game are relatively the same all the time, but it's going to be very important for the Padres to grind out at bats and get to the bullpen. And what did Alex say about Bubba Chandler? He says his problems are he can get a little wild and it's hard to locate sometimes. And when you got a young arm like Bubba Chandler out there, if you can get him uncomfortable and make him have to earn the strike zone a little bit, Padres might be able to exploit that tonight. And they might have to, because I don't know what you're going to get out of Germán Marquez. I mean, I really don't. I just, Germán Marquez did not have it in his first outing with the Padres. I mean, he has not been very good in the Padres rotation. Maybe he can have a bounce back today in Pittsburgh, but it's going to be tough sledding, I think, for Germán Marquez, including against an offense that's very inconsistent in the Pittsburgh Pirates. So, we'll see what happens. But to me, if you're the Padres, you cannot, and it's imperative, Germán Marquez cannot pitch yourself into a massive hole early. Otherwise, you'll never climb out of it. Because the one thing that will help out a young arm is looking up at the scoreboard and seeing he's got 5 runs to work with, or seeing he's got 4 runs to work with, and having an early lead. At that point, he's going to be able to get comfortable and start grooving pitches. And that's the recipe for disaster tonight for the Padres. They have to grind out at bats. They have to, you know what? I honestly think they have to strike first to really put the pressure on, and maybe give Germán Marquez a little bit of breathing room out there on the hill today for the Padres. But starting rotation's good for the Pirates, and you're taking on some of their best this week.
Yeah, absolutely. And just looking through, you might feel a little bit more comfortable looking at this. Joey Bart's 0 for 4 in his career against Germán Marquez. O'Neal Cruz 0 for 3. Blau 0 for 2. O'Hearn 0 for 4. Reynolds is 1 for 2. Marcelo Zuna has seen him the most. He's 2 for 10 with a home run and 2 RBIs. But no one else on that Pirates roster has seen Germán Marquez. And of course, this will be the first time that we've seen Bubba Chandler or Paul Skenes in games 1 and 2 of this series.
I want to keep the streak of just avoiding Paul Skenes. Not that like the Padres can't go out there and attack Paul Skenes, but kind of the bit of them never seeing Paul Skenes is kind of hilarious. Seriously, it is kind of hilarious. Has anybody faced Paul Skenes on this team? Like from other teams? So. I don't know. Like you would have to. Padres have a lot of American League guys that probably haven't seen him yet. But that will be, I guess, a deal for tomorrow. Yeah, take a look while he's doing that. Well, let's set up for our next segment.
Castellanos is 1 for 6, I believe. That would be a 167, and Ty France is 1 for 3. That's it.
Got him. Locked in. Are they both going to start tomorrow now? They have experience against Paul Skenes. I honestly can't wait for the lineup every day, because you never know what weird things are going to happen. I don't mind that from Craig Stammen. I like the fact that he's trying to find what works and what doesn't, the hot hand, the not hot hand. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But when we come back, we're going to dive further into the series against the Boston Red Sox, some other things that we noticed while the Padres took 2 out of 3 from Boston. We will continue our conversation on the other end on the Braden Surprenant Show, Skenes Urban Sports Station 97 through the Fan. 11:24, broadcasting live for the Bill House Studios. We know how. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. Want to mention that enter for a chance to win a trip to the night before the draft in Pittsburgh, April 22nd. It's an all-star invite-only concert starring Jason Aldean, John Morgan, and Shane Prophet. Just days before Jason's new album, Songs About Us, drops April 24th. Enter the national contest at odyssey.com/the night before. We are talking about the Padres over the weekend, how they did against the Boston Red Sox. There was a lot of different things to talk about in terms of storylines. We talked about the Wandy Peralta situation briefly. We'll table that and continue it. I thought Randy Vasquez over the weekend was phenomenal. And that's now 2 starts for Randy Vasquez where he has looked really locked in. He has looked really good. And the thing is his pitch mix has been great. I mean, we could break down his pitching sequence and everything like that maybe later in the show. But we wanted it. We teased it before. We're going to get to it now. You know, through 2 starts, Randy Vasquez has the highest B-WAR in Major League Baseball with 0.9. He's 1-0 with a 0.75 ERA in these 2 starts. He's been phenomenal. And again, you know, where he has run into issues has been walks. He had 3 walks in his first outing. He just had 1 in his last outing against Boston. And he is off to what is an impeccable start. It'd be nice for him to obviously keep up these type of numbers. But this is why we said before his first start of the season against Detroit that he has the physical ability to be a number 2 in the rotation, or even to be a number 1 up to the level of being an ace. And I think there's a difference between being an ace and being a number 1 in the rotation. Just because you're pitching first in the rotation does not make you an ace. You can also have ace level stuff. But to me, you couldn't ask anything more out of Randy Vasquez at this point in time. And I don't think it's wrong to say he's been your best pitcher to start the year, Frank.
No, he has been for sure. And he's also been one of the healthier ones too. And the way Nick Pivetta went through spring training, I said there were some warning signs there that he was not going to be the best starter or not the best version of himself going into the regular season. And that's proven to be true. You knew the questions about Michael King going in, and he silenced some of those questions with his start on Friday. He was just fine. And then you knew the back end were fighting just to stay in long enough for Griffin Canning or for Joe Musgrove to come back. So you were looking at Randy Vasquez as being your best option in that starting rotation, and he has lived up to that. He's lived up to that billing.
Yeah, he has.
He has pitched very, very well through 83 pitches yesterday. Later on in the season, I'm sure that'll be more. I'm sure he probably would have gotten into the 7th inning later on in the season, but still early days. You're going to pull your starters a little bit earlier. A solid performance and everything you would have expected and hoped for out of Randy Vasquez, either through Game 3 against Detroit or Game 7 against Boston. You got it. Or Game 8 against Boston. You got it.
He's been fun to watch to start the season. I mean, he's just been, and I've seen him now in person both times. I haven't been able to watch it on television yet because I've been at both of these games, and he looks. The other thing too that he looks so much more confident on the mound. He trusts his stuff, and the other thing too, it's like he's always had really good stuff, and he's always had a good pitch mix. But working with you, Darvish, over the offseason in the last couple of years, I think has improved that. I think his sequencing has been better. And I think it's given him the confidence. And on top of that, he's hitting higher velos now. Now, it was down on Saturday, but everybody's velocity was down on Saturday. It was freezing. But now he has good stuff matched with higher velo, and that makes him even more of a legit pitcher. And I remember I had this conversation a couple of years ago during this time slot about, and I said this, I said, because it was Randy Vasquez and Matt Waldron were like battling back and forth for your number 5. Matt Waldron was having success. And I said, that's great. It's a knuckleballer. It looks different. But I said, Randy Vasquez is your future. That is your future. I said it on this show. I said Randy Vasquez is your future. He's got great stuff. I think he's going to be a big add to this team. And, he kind of battled, and then last year he improved, but he was still kind of like laboring, and it was hard to watch. I think you're starting to really get the fruits of your labor on that Juan Soto trade by getting Randy Vasquez, by investing all this time and effort into Randy Vasquez. And honestly, you want to talk about young guys that you want part of this organization for a longer period of time. It's time to start talking about Randy Vasquez in that particular sense, because these are the type of players you need to balance out some of the big contracts, and Randy Vasquez has done a great job.
Yeah, absolutely. He's played the perfect role, and now we're seeing, we'll discuss it a little bit later, Matt Waldron could possibly be coming up. We'll take a look at what Griffin Canning did over the weekend, and Joe Musgrove is going to be looming. He has been the perfect complement so far to this rotation, and a guy who is going to pitch well for not a lot of money. Exactly what you were looking for over the offseason. Couldn't quite get it, more or less, and you found it in him.
I've always been a big believer in Randy Vasquez. You're starting to see him at a high level these last couple of starts. Now, it's only been 2 starts, so it's a good way to get things going to start the season.
Good starting point.
Correct. And he's going to have to continue. And I'm going to tell you right now, he ain't going to continue like this the entire season. He's going to have a clunker or two. I don't think you're going to see a Randy Vasquez Cy Young season. Maybe you do. That'd be great. I just don't think that might be the case. So we'll talk more about Randy a little bit later. To kind of finish up the Wandy Peralta conversation, because we were talking about that to end the last hour, because I don't think it's time to cut Randy Vasquez yet. I really don't. I think there's a way to use him still, and you have invested a ton of money into him, and it's going to cost you $8 million, $9 million for him to go away if you decide to DFA him right now. And I know he hasn't been great out of the gate, but I think there's ways to use Wandy Peralta. I just don't think those ways are in high leverage situations. And I do think he's being thrown into those right now because of Jason Adam being injured. And here's the other thing, because Jason Adams coming back. You cannot use Adrian Morejon every single day. You cannot use him every single day. You really can't. You cannot use Adrian Morejon every day, as much as we'd like to. And Morejon's gotten knocked around a little bit because of the fact he's been used a lot. But you have to use somebody. I think the Padres think they can use Wandy Peralta as a bullpen arm against lefties. I think you got to start thinking about not using him against lefties anymore. And you have to find somebody else. Now, here's the caveat. You have to use somebody against left-handers. And right now, since Morejon is your back-end setup man until Jason Adam comes back, who is that going to be? Is it Kyle Hart or is it Wandy Peralta? Because here's the other thing, too. I don't think a lot of people in the first 9 games of the season, Frank, want to see Kyle Hart coming out in a big situation. I don't really think that's the case.
No.
I think he's done really well.
He's your long reliever.
Right. I think he's done really well. I think you might test him maybe once every couple of series in a situation like that, but we'd be having the same conversation if it was Hart. I think a lot of people are just kind of tired of Wandy Peralta, but I do not think now is the time to potentially send him elsewhere. But I do think this is important. Yuki Matsui and Wandy Peralta both can't be bad. One of them has to be somewhat decent. Otherwise, you're going to have to send one of them away. And as Frank mentioned, you are paying Wandy Peralta $4.45 million for the next 2 seasons. He can opt out, which he won't. So if you want to get rid of him, it's going to cost you $9 million. If he's better than Matsui, you have to think about this for a second too. Yuki Matsui can also opt out after this season, but Yuki Matsui is owed $5.75 million this year and $6.5 million next year. Oh, and by the way, he's got a player option in 2028 for $7 million. So you cannot have both of those guys be poor. They're going to have to be on the team. I'm going to tell you right now, the Padres are going to let these guys play a little bit longer before they make a decision. So They are right now the Achilles heel of this bullpen. We have not seen Matsui yet, obviously, as he is rehabbing in the minor leagues. But if Yuki Matsui comes up and does not do well either, you're going to have to eat some money. You're just going to have to. Maybe you tack it on the expenses for the new team on the ownership. Just put that in the clause. Now you're going to have to buy this guy out of a contract. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We'll talk about Randy Vasquez and just how good he was later on in the noon hour. But when we come back, it's time to take a look at what's going on, what else is going on in sports as we take a look at the sports thread. We'll get to that when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, Standing Number Sports Station 97.3 The Fan. Broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. We are the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97 through the Fan. It is so much better doing this show and the Padres win. I mean, don't get me wrong. We have a great time being therapists when they lose, but it's a little bit better when they win. It's slightly better when they win.
You think so, huh?
What's funny was I was limiting my phone usage during the weekend because it's just the battery would just get drained. Trying to like navigate, maps around the deal, whatever. Anyway, the flip from all of the Padres people on social media that like wanted everybody cut to like now saying like how gritty the team is. What do we call that? We call that being a what?
The wind do be blowing.
Yeah, that'd be a windsock. Oh, God, there's so many windsocks on Twitter, dude. So many windsocks. So many windsocks that just tweet out the dumbest stuff to be, like, important. And then they never put their name on it either. They just, like, hide behind, like, these fake names with these that are, like, play on words of, like, their favorite player. Windsock. Put your name on it, dude. If you want to, like, you know. Am I going to be the Mick Cronin of the deal?
Are you raising your voice at me?
Put your name on it, dude, so we can all see you. We can all hear what you got to say. What are you embarrassed? You embarrassed to not put your full name on some of these things? I mean, go ahead, say it. Put your name out there. No, we like hiding. We like hiding. Oh, I don't want it to affect my life. I don't want people to look at me differently. I'm gonna spew all my BS and then hide behind like some random Padre stan account. It's like, come on. There's more to life, guys. Go out there and go find some enjoyment. It's so sad. It's so sad. I see a lot of that stuff. The Windsox have been out, and now they're just like, oh, we're the greatest team ever. Oh, we knew that was coming. I don't even want to talk about San Diego FC one.
Is we now?
Yeah. Windsock season is out in full force. Don't be a windsock. That's why when we throw up this guy, everybody wants to ask, what's that little logo at the bottom of the graphic on YouTube? That is no Windsocks.
It's Padres Twitter is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Don't be a windsock. Don't be a windsock. And trust me, I have my moments. There's some times where I sit there and live in the moment going like, this team's never winning again. Because that's how fans are. You got to talk yourself off the ledge before you start just spewing nonsense on social media. Nobody wants to hear your nonsense, dude. Nobody wants to read your nonsense. Misery loves company. Padres Twitter, known midday lovers. Yeah, that's definitely not the case. Sam, thanks for it, though. 833-288-1973, 833-288-1973. I will say this. I think we're going to talk more about the Padres in here in a second. As much as everybody wants to get on like Steven Souza Jr. and everything, I think the adjustments that the Padres have been making in game have been pretty solid, and they're getting better at it. I think there's a reason to be optimistic. A lot of Padres fans don't want to be optimistic. They're exactly in the spot I thought they would be going into Pittsburgh, and that's 4-5 on the year. I just flipped who they were going to take 2 out of 3 from. I thought they'd win 2 out of 3 at home against the Giants, and I thought they'd lose 2 out of 3 against the Red Sox. They flipped that. But they're what, 4-5? 4-5 in their first 9. They win tonight, 5-5 in the first 10. Hey, you're going to play a lot of 5-5 ball over 10-game stretches in Major League Baseball. We said that to start the year. All right. Before we talk more about the Padres and what happened over the weekend, let's get to what's going on in other sports with today's Sports Thread.
The one that's always blowing up with the biggest sports takes, debates, and breaking news.
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me?
Yeah, we've got that too. Welcome to the Sports Thread, where we break down the top 5 stories in sports, just like you would with your crew.
Oh, no! Disaster! What a bad idea!
No filters, no silence, just real talk.
All right, Frank, what we got brewing today that's non-Padre related?
We got a couple of things that have come down during the show here today. UNC has officially hired Michael Malone to be their new coach at North Carolina.
All right.
Also, Angel Reese has been traded from the Sky to the Dream for 2 first-round picks.
All right.
Dexter Lawrence has requested a trade from the New York Giants.
I did see that too. But
Moving on.
Doesn't believe in Jackson Dart.
I guess not. Moving on.
Number 1.
Guy doesn't like Harbaugh.
Donald Trump has signed an executive order aimed at reshaping college sports by directing the NCAA to limit athletes to a 5-year playing window and restrict them to 1 without penalty transfer before graduating, with changes set to begin on August 1st. The order also calls for a national registry for agents and protections to prevent schools from cutting funding for women's and Olympic sports to pay for athletes. However, legal experts widely believe the order could be unconstitutional and unforeseeable, and NCAA President Charlie Baker emphasized that congressional action still is needed for lasting reform. The move comes as college sports continues to face instability following the NCAA versus Alston decisions, which weakened the NCAA's authority, and amid ongoing debates in Congress over athlete pay, employment status, and long-term structure. Do you think federal intervention like this executive order is necessary to bring stability to college sports, or should the NCAA and conferences be responsible for creating and enforcing their own rules?
Well, the conferences and the NCAA can't enforce any of their own rules because they don't hold up in court. So most of the rules don't even matter. You could literally take a blowtorch to all of the rules in the NCAA and just say they're unconstitutional, and then they go to a judge, and then they just go find the right judge, and then the right judge says, yeah, I agree. As an Ole Miss alum, I agree. You should be eligible. So they need federal enforcement on a lot of these issues. Now, here's the deal. I like what Donald Trump did with the executive order. It's not going to hold up in any type of court of law. It's just not. It's an executive order. It's not an act by Congress. Congress has to get involved with making the rules. And that they really need to do is they need to make the NCAA antitrust non-exempt. That's what they need. They need to do that. And then once that happens, then they can get a collective bargaining agreement. Then they can establish all their rules. And then you could be like, if you don't like it, don't go somewhere else to play. Go ahead. But this is how we're going to do things in college athletics. They need to be antitrust law exempt in order to make this thing work.
The framework, though, is good. 5-year.
Oh, I like
thing,
the direction they're going in.
Yeah,
sure.
one penalty-free transfer. That's fine. It's the other things that need to be ironed
100%.
out.
Now, here's the other thing too. They talked about this on like some of the Final Four pregame show, right? Like Jay Billis. Jay Billis had to go out there like, oh, well, players started getting paid. All of a sudden, we need to fix this. What's wrong with this, buddy? Nobody cares about the players getting paid. It's nonsensical to pay a bunch of 18-year-olds millions of dollars.
Yes,
that's different. That's a different conversation for a different day. But what needs to happen is you can't have free agency every single year, buddy. That's not how this works. Otherwise, it's not going to be competitive. And you know what people are going to do? They're going to stop watching, Jay. They're going to stop watching. And what happens when they stop watching because they don't care because it's stupid? Your ratings go down. And what happens when your ratings go down? Oh, you don't make as much money. Mm-hmm. And when they don't make as much money, guess who's not getting paid anymore, Jay? You, buddy. It's nonsensical. It's nonsensical. We're missing the entire plot of this conversation. Thank God they at least started to get the ball rolling, but Congress has to act. Now, here's the thing. Congress, and this is not a political show, we're a sports show. We take you away from all the craziness that's in the world. They have bigger problems to deal with right now than worrying about whether or not 18-year-olds get paid and what the rules are for 18-year-olds to get paid to play a game.
In an election year as well.
In a midterm year. A midterm year. Which, by the way, as we know from anybody in Congress, whether it be Republicans or Democrats, they're only going to do what they think is going to get them elected so they can stay in power forever. Seriously. I mean, I'm anti both sides on the craziness of them. It's them versus everybody else is basically what it is. But anyway, we'll move on to other sports things. But the whole Jay Billis thing was so sickening to me. It's like, oh, well, now they start getting paid and people got a problem with it. Look, man, yeah, the athlete's not getting paid like other college students, fine. Them getting paid enormous amounts of money and then being able to leave every single second that they possibly can to get more money, this is not something that works out. This is not something that's good for your sport, my guy. And they can still get paid. I don't care what you pay them. Just put in rules so they have to stay at the schools that they sign with. Next.
Number 2.
Cameron Boozer reveals he has suffered multiple fractures around his eye during the Duke's Blue Devils Elite 8 loss to UConn, but will not undergo surgery and is focused on recovering ahead of the NBA draft. The injury occurred after taking an elbow from one of the UConn players, causing immediate swelling. Despite the setback, Boozer, one of the most decorated freshmen in recent history and a projected top 5 pick, remains confident in his game and draft outlook. He emphasizes competitiveness and all-around impact while supporting his twin brothers amid backlash following the loss. Do you think injuries like Boozer's this close to the draft should significantly affect his draft stock, or should teams prioritize long-term potential over short-term health concerns?
How significant is this injury?
It was a broken orbital bone, effectively.
Oh, wow. Is that career altering?
It shouldn't be. It could potentially be. He'll most likely have to wear a mask for a while if he's going to play.
Right, but I don't think it's a career altering. I give this here's my take on this.
Depends on the extent of the damage.
If this ends up affecting his total career of he's not going to ever be the player that he was at Duke, then yes, he was going to fall in the draft. Mm-hmm. But if this is only a short-term thing, if you're an NBA team, are you really going to pass up what his potential is in the NBA draft because he's not going to immediately make an impact in the first maybe 2 or 3 months? Even then, I don't think it's that big of. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. Now, if this is an elbow issue for a potential pitcher going into the draft and he's got to get fixed, and who knows what his velocity could be when it comes back, then I might pass on this particular player. But if it's going to affect his ability to shoot, score, or play at any level in the NBA long term, if it's not going to do that, then I don't think he's going to fall in the draft that much.
It depends on his vision. It's really all it depends on, honestly.
Number 3.
The New York Islanders have fired head coach Patrick Waugh amidst a late season slump that has jeopardized their playoff chances, replacing him with Peter DeBoer for the final stretch and beyond. The Islanders have struggled defensively during a recent skid, prompting the move, despite Waugh having 2 seasons left on his deal after leading the team to the playoffs last season. DeBoer is a veteran coach with several Stanley Cup Finals appearances, stepping in with hopes of stabilizing the team as they look to stay in the postseason race. Was firing Patrick Waugh this late in the season the right move, or should the Islanders have waited until the offseason?
I think you should answer that question.
The thought of firing someone this late into the season, I think, is kind of just a wake-up call. And this is a new general manager. This is a first-year general manager who I think wanted him out.
Excuse to get rid of him.
Yeah, so this way, and possibly wanted Peter DeBoer. So now you cut the line off of all the teams that would have been looking to hire a guy like Peter DeBoer at the end of the season.
I just think it's kind of odd timing.
Yeah, I agree.
At this point in time.
I agree. It's only a couple games left in the year.
When we come back, takeaways from the Boston series.
Padres. So it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the gas lamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime use.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
Noon lunchtime hour on the Fan is brought to you by the Craft Taco. Both flavors, 2 locations, Sereno Valley and inside Balboa Park's Natural History Museum. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show. Live and local each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's Urban Sports Station 97.3, The Fan. Now, we have had, I'm going to tell you what, we're in the noon lunchtime hour, so we always like to talk about food. The food in Boston. Oh,
I'm waiting for the tacos. Where the damn tacos at?
food in Boston was great. Would I ever get a taco in Boston? Absolutely not. Would absolutely never get a taco in Boston.
There's a pretty good taco place out there.
Oh, yeah?
It's a nationwide chain.
Is it in Bell?
I think it's.
Or is it Del?
I think it's purple.
Does it end in Bell or start with Del?
No, it ends in Bell.
Oh, one of those.
Yeah.
I only saw one of those out there.
Really?
Walking around, yeah. Oh, did you see? I sent it to you. I put on my story. I can't believe the vending machines they had at Boston Logan Airport. Do I have that picture still? Do you want to put that up on display if I send it to you?
That is so not good.
It was awesome. I was sitting there waiting for somebody to put money into it.
There's no, dude.
I have it. Here it is. Here's the one can I, you want me to email it to you or text it to you?
Yeah, go ahead and email it to me.
Okay. Oh, I don't have my email set up on my phone. No, wait, no, here it is.
with you.
No, like the email app. I don't use the email app on there.
Oh, I got it.
The full picture?
Yeah, I could just send it to myself.
With the with all 4 of them?
Oh no, it's just got the one. It's the one.
Here, let me send you the all 4. I labeled the subject fun. This is fun. This is fun. Done. It got sent. All right. So we just landed at the Boston Logan Airport. Terminal A. It's Thursday night at like 8:00, something like that. It's freezing outside. The trip, we landed in Atlanta. It was hotter than the sun when we landed in Atlanta. We landed in Boston. I thought I went and paid a visit to the heat miser and then the snow miser in a span of 2.5 hours. How drastically different the temperature is. All right. We go to the bathroom, right? As you do when you get off a plane. We walk out of the bathroom and I have to wait, waiting for my mom and my sister. And I am standing next to some vending machines.
Oh,
and then I look and I go, hang on a second. This is not a normal group of vending machines.
Not ain't.
There's 4 on there, and then I saw others outside the airport that were the same. Needless to say, nobody was really using these. All right, let's pull up the picture on YouTube just to explain. All right. As I have split screen on my thing, so it's a little bit smaller. I have to pull it up here. As we go from left to right on YouTube with the vending machines at Boston Logan Airport. On the far left is the Cheesecake Factory vending machine, which, by the way, not that bad of an idea. It's refrigerated. It slices a cheesecake. I mean, they had all the different types, the main cheesecakes that you would see at the Cheesecake Factory, and they had a little touchscreen and stuff like that. Cheesecake Factory vending machine.
And then it comes to you flat as it falls from the top row.
Maybe. I no, they had the little bit, they go up and they grab it and they slowly
claw?
bring it down.
So at least that's...
Could you imagine an actual Cheesecake Factory vending machine where like it has the little coil and then your little cheesecake got stuck and you're trying to shake the thing to get your cheesecake? So wait, go ask Tex. Don't spoil the plot.
Stop getting ahead of the gimmick, please.
I'm not displaying. Only the people on Twitch got exposed to that. So you have the Cheesecake Factory one. At a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rank a Cheesecake Factory cheesecake vending machine?
It depends on how long you're there.
It's not a bad idea. Like if you want a slice of cheesecake,
I'd give it a solid 5.
I'd give it a 6.7. Pushing into the 7 territory.
Think about it from,
a solid idea. Hold on. Think about it from this perspective. Now, whether or not they give you a fork with it is different.
Yes.
But you're sitting at the airport, Frank. You don't just want like a bag of M&Ms or candy.
Oh, yeah, no.
Whatever like that. You're like, hey,
while,
I kind of want a dessert, whatever. You could bring it on the plane instead of like the small bag of Cheez-Its you get with 6 Cheez-Its in it and some cookies. You could pull out a slice of cheesecake from Cheesecake Factory. It's pretty solid.
Yeah, that's a very good idea.
Overall, in terms of it's refrigerated, like that's not a lot of problem. Okay.
Like I said, it depends on how long you're going to be there.
The one in the middle, I think, is a regular drink vending machine.
Yeah, that looks like a
Now, I will
one.
say this, just for the case and point of the bit. I saw another vending machine group like this with that one replaced with a breakfast burrito kind of deal. It was interesting. It looked like, I asked my dad when we were walking to the airport, and I was like, you going to buy a bean and cheese burrito coming out of a vending machine? He's like, absolutely not.
Yeah, that's your airport generic slot there, effectively.
Right.
Effectively.
The one next to that, for everybody listening on the radio, these are the craziest vending machines I've ever seen, is a California Pizza Kitchen vending machine. Now, the first one, and I'm talking about the Cheesecake Factory owner, you could actually physically see the slices of cheesecake. Now we get into vending machines where you have no idea what's going on behind the vending machine because it is a touchscreen. It looks like our friend in the YouTube chat, Fridge Watcher's fridge. That's what it looks like. So you tap in whatever, and they go fresh. It goes fresh baked pizza. So you could order. Which, by the way, they had California Pizza Kitchen all over this airport.
I'm going to ask a question.
I'm going to give you a dumb answer.
Was it one of those, like you're at McDonald's or wherever, where it's the touch screen and then like it gets made somewhere else and then it comes to you? So
these are legit just machines.
So those are just vending machines.
Correct.
So it's not getting made in a different part, like next to it, and then getting handed out. It's coming out of the vending machine.
No, it's coming out of the vending machine. I'm sure it was pre-made and then loaded in there, and they probably reheat it.
That's not what I wanted to hear.
Well, I'll get to the next one in a second. But the CPK one, I don't know if I'd have to be very desperate to put money into a machine to get a California Pizza Kitchen pizza. No offense to CPK. I don't even know that they still have the one in Carmel Mountain. That's like the only one that pops into my head.
I know they still have the one in the Otay Ranch Mall. I know that.
I think they might still have the one in Carmel Mountain. I think I've eaten there once in my entire life.
Same have I.
People like their barbecue chicken pizza or something. But on a scale of 1 to 10 for that one, I give it a 2.3.
That's generous.
That is generous. You know what? Because you want to know why I'm being generous with it? Because again, if I was desperate and I was really hungry and that's all they had, I would put money in the machine and I'd eat the pizza.
This next vending machine should come with a warning.
I thought you would love this next vending machine. In fact, when I saw it, I immediately took a picture and sent it to you.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. This next one is amazing. It's great. It's something that I could not believe could be turned into a vending machine.
This one should come with a warning.
Now, as Frank asked, is this a touchscreen where there's a kitchen back there and all of a sudden they just put out your order number whatever, 15? No, it is not. It is an actual vending machine. And for people that are on YouTube, can probably look at the little logo in the corner right there and maybe what it looks like at the top of the vending machine and start to figure out exactly what this is a vending machine for. It is a burger joint. It is a fast food burger chain.
One that we do not have.
One that Frank likes, correct?
Yes.
Didn't you talk about? Frank was upset, in fact, that on Wednesday, he told us the news that the Vegas one had shut down.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, next to the men's restroom at the Boston Logan Airport, which I think is conveniently placed right now, is a White Castle cheeseburger vending machine. A White Castle cheeseburger vending machine, which, by the way, they have all sorts of varieties of cheeseburgers that you could get. It's the same thing. You could have got the 2 cheeseburgers. You could have got the 4. You could have got the 6 of the regular. They had the jalapeno one. They had a bacon cheese one. They had whatever. I don't know what type of flavors they have of White Castle. Maybe you could elaborate for us on that. But they had about 3 or 4 different varieties of the White Castle cheeseburgers that you could order from a touchscreen, and then it popped out of the little trash can handle at a vending machine, fully cooked. It's not like you got the frozen ones. You had to go microwave them somewhere. They basically, I guarantee what they do is they take the 2 in the wrapper that they would take, right? And then they like heat it up in the little machine, and then they spit it out for you. I was waiting for somebody to use it, to be honest with you.
There is only one scenario where you would use that. And that is if you are leaving and you're waiting for your luggage to get to the carousel. That is the only reason why you would ever use that. If you use that machine and you're about to go on a flight, that flight is getting grounded because there was a toxic spillage on the aircraft that it needed to make an emergency landing.
I should have tried that for fun.
That machine should come with a warning: do not use before a flight. Use when leaving.
A White Castle cheeseburger vending machine is the funniest thing I've ever seen. I could not believe it. And by the way, we were going to the bathroom out, so we had to wait for my sister to land, and then we went outside. We walked outside, and in the outside the airport part, they had another bathroom where they had another White Castle vending machine right next to the bathroom. And I'm standing out there waiting for my sister to go to the bathroom, and there's a guy there in a Red Sox hat. He's like looking at it. He's like, to be honest with you, I'm curious to see if anybody uses this thing. This is unbelievable.
Cole, I'm not hating on White Castle. I love White Castle. I also know that if you pull into a White Castle, you are issuing an open challenge to your stomach.
Oh, dude, this thing's brand new. Oh, what? The Columbus Dispatch put it in an article, and I tried to read it, but I had to pay for that. I'm not doing that. Yeah, this debuted, by the way. This debuted, by the way, in February of this year. This thing is brand new, this idea. So here's the overview. White Castle has introduced automated vending machine kiosks primarily in airports like Boston Logan. These machines store sliders cold and steam heat them on demand, serving items like original cheese and chicken sliders in under 2 minutes.
By the way, do you know how they cook those? Cook the sliders? Like at a normal White Castle?
I only know how to cook them because I've gotten them before at like Vaughn's, because you can get the frozen ones and you open one side of the package and you throw it in the microwave and then you let the thing steam cook like these vending machines do. I don't know how they actually cook White Castle cheeseburgers.
They don't flip them.
Oh,
the patties are so thin that it cooks them all the way through on one side. You used to be able to get them for like 5 cents. My grandfather would always tell stories about him and his friends getting 75 sliders after going to a movie and just going to town.
75 sliders.
They're like,
I know how big.
Like that big.
I have had White Castle before.
Yeah, so like him and a group of his friends would down like 75 sliders.
Okay.
For like $5.
Well, it's funny. The menu and pricing now offers original sliders, cheese bacon cheese sliders, and chicken and cheese sliders. Prices are reported roughly $8.45 to $8.50 for 2 sliders. What a ripoff. And you're getting ripped off. I'm going to tell you right now, if you put $8.50 into a vending machine to buy 2 White Castle cheeseburgers, you should be arrested on site. On site.
Wait a minute.
You should be arrested. Straight to jail.
Nobody
in their right mind should be operating in society paying $8.50 for 2 sliders at White Castle Cheeseburger's vending machine. Straight to jail.
Now, granted, this would have been in the 60s and 70s. I just said you used to be able to get about 75 sliders for about $2.50. You have to pay $8.50.
That's what it says. Price is reported
for 2
at roughly $8.45 to $8.50 for 2 sliders. That's coming off of the AI overview of an article, so maybe it's wrong. But
if that is true, and if you purchase a slider from one of these vending machines, you need mental help, and you should not be allowed to handle money without some sort of supervision.
How about this? It says quality. According to the reports, the sliders are generally considered warmer and fresher than the store-bought microwavable versions.
I would
due to a special
so.
steaming process.
I would. God, I would hope so. God, I would hope so.
Oh man, there are no. They have it. Guess where they have them at Boston Logan, and they have them in Fort Myers Airport.
I was going to say, please do not say Kennedy.
No, come on, man. JFK's got more class than that. Vending machine stores sliders, cold, fully packaged White Castle products. When a customer places an order, the sandwich is transferred into the heating unit where it's quickly warmed and dispensed hot and steamy in its carton. It's the taste customers expect, White Castle said, just without the pickles. There are no plans right now to put the vending machines at John Glenn Columbus International Airport. White Castle currently has no presence at its hometown airport, although spokeswoman Brianne Gonzalez almost said a concessions program is in the earliest stages of development for new terminal that's under construction set for 2029.
And by the way, you don't put like ketchup and mustard on those burgers. You dunk them in it because they are steamed.
They look like chicken nuggets size.
They are steamed so much that the bun virtually melts into the meat. So there's no like putting anything on it. If it's not put on it before it's made, it's not getting put on it because you're just peeling off melted bun. It's been steamed so much. There
are people that have done food. Oh man, I should have done a food review of that. There's people that have done food reviews of this. It's hilarious.
No, Juan, I did not go to the White Castle when I was in Arizona because I didn't see it until I was passing it and there was no exit there.
Apparently, all of those are brand new. The Cheesecake Factory. Oh my God, the pizza.
Mad.
The White Castle, it comes out in a little White Castle box.
Yeah.
Yeah, they come out and then he's got to open the box. Yeah, he pulls out the sliders.
Yeah, no, like if you get a pack of 10 sliders, it comes in like a little handheld box.
I know, but I'm saying it's coming out of the vending machine and then you open. It's honestly, they basically pump out a box that you see at Vons. And it gets served like that. And then they have the bag. It comes in the bag. Do you have to, what is that? You have to put it back in there? It literally looks just like the ones you would get at Vons.
Lovely.
Oh my God, the display. You got to watch this video, dude. It's so funny. I mean, the guy breaks down the whole thing. No tips, no fees, no lines is what like their big selling point is. It literally says that on the vending machine.
Cole in the chat. B-Surf coming to you live here with this food review from my bathroom.
Oh my God. It is crazy. All right. When we come back, we're going to talk more about what happened in Boston between the Padres and the Red Sox. And most notably, what the top four did. The core four showed up this weekend. We'll explain when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97 through the Fan. We appreciate that. We're broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. All of our guests join us on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not Big Bang Banking. It's better. Talk about my time in Boston. The first thing they got there was Boston's got great food. The first thing I do when I get there is see the vending machine from White Castle is crazy. I honestly we have a couple of minutes. I don't want to take too much time with this because we got to talk about the Padres again. What would be the worst vending machine for a fast food restaurant?
Arby's.
I feel like you could microwave an Arby's sandwich and it would be okay. Why couldn't you do Arby's? Come on. They have the sandwiches pre-made. You heat it up real quick. It tastes like an Arby's sandwich. It's not like an Arby's sandwich tastes fresh ever. It'd be the exact same thing as getting it at the counter. No tips, no lines, no fees.
You know what?
As the White Castle vending machine said.
You got me on that one.
I think you could pull off Taco Bell. Just you couldn't get anything crunchy. You'd have to bake it would be too hard to do anything crunchy. Like nachos would be out of the question. The tacos would be jacked up too with the lettuce and the tomatoes and stuff like that. You could do burrito only Taco Bell vending machine. That would be scary to do, to jump on a plane.
That Jay Husey brings up a very good point. Long John Silver's.
Long John Silver's is in the running definitely for what would be the worst fast food vending machine. Absolutely. California burrito vending machine. Yeah, so either it's going to be cold. The fries will get soggy. You can't really do that. I don't consider Mexican food fast food. I think it's a San Diego food staple. I'm talking about fast food chains. McDonald's would be pretty easy because it's all that's fake stuff anyway. Yeah. You couldn't do In-N-Out. In-N-Out's too fresh for that. They would never allow you to do that. That'd actually be a great vending machine. You'd be like, oh, sick, In-N-Out. Popeyes couldn't really do fried chicken. Could you imagine buying a bucket of KFC fried chicken at a vending machine? They can't fry the chicken. If you reheat chicken, you'd have to. Well, I guess if you made it a giant air fryer.
You know what?
If you made it a giant air fryer, it probably wouldn't be too bad.
I almost, of course, nothing beats KFC when it's freshly made and done. I would put second to that KFC straight out of the fridge.
Excuse me?
If it's not soggy, cold KFC is not bad. I don't mind it at all. You can't, if it's not soggy and all that, but if you have KFC cold, it's actually really good. I enjoy it a lot.
I don't think you could do you couldn't do Subway or Chipotle or anything like that. Could you imagine ordering a Chipotle bowl out of a vending machine? Wiener Schnitzel. Now we're talking. Get yourself a what's those called? The Lenten hot dog they had.
Oh God.
Cole Brooks is starving after this conversation. Cole Brooks is going to go to his nearest vending machine and demand that it makes him White Castle.
So am I, and today's our long day too.
I know.
Is not great.
That's not great. I'm also hungry. We could split your dad's Easter pie here. Eats the what is this?
It's Pizza Rustica.
Pizza Rustica. It looks delicious. We could split that, I guess. Today is our long day. All right. Let's get to what we really wanted to talk about here. I threw in a ChatGPT what would the 5 worst fast food vending machines, what they would be. They said Subway, Chipotle, Starbucks, Wingstop, In-N-Out Burger. I don't know about that. I think if somebody ordered Taco Bell out of a vending machine and then jumped on a plane, you'd have to really be worried about them. Yeah, the Sea Dog. Sea Dog. What'd you get? I got the Sea Dog. What is that? It's a fish stick in a hot dog bun. Where'd you get it from? The the vending machine.
Worry about it.
I got it at the vending machine. Excuse me. All right.
Cole Brooks in the chat.
Cole's having a rough day.
Make me a White Castle clanker. Me yelling at a vending machine.
He's probably shaking it too.
That is hilarious.
Oyster vending machine. Tough. We might be onto something though. Juan Ruiz in the chat. Epic Wings vending machine might be brilliant.
Wingy.
Sacco's and Russo's. Let's get. You know what? I tell you what. If they had an Epic Wings vending machine at a local mall, people would be buying it. Figure out the technology. Let's do it. All right, let's get to what happened over the weekend with the Padres and the Red Sox. Spend a little extra time on this. Over the weekend, the core four showed up. Xander, Manny, Jackson, Fernando. They were combined 9 for 15 with 2 home runs, 2 doubles, 2 walks, 6 runs, and 6 RBIs. Individually, Manny had 3 RBIs, a run. He hit a 2-run homer on a pitch way outside the zone. I don't know how he hit that ball over the fence, to be honest with you. Jackson Merrill had a solo home run yesterday. 8th inning, clinched the game, 2 hits, 2 runs. Tatis with a double, a run, and a sac fly. Bogarts 4 times on base, broke his 19 at-bat hitless streak. So he got back into the hit column with a couple of knocks yesterday as well, and he worked a walk. These 4 have played 159 games together since Merrill's 2024 debut. Less than half the possible games. Health and synchronized performances are very critical, but we got to see this weekend, Frank, especially Sunday, when these 4 guys are playing together and these 4 guys are hitting, this team can do a lot of damage offensively.
Yeah, and that's what we thought. We've seen, how many times have we seen the top of the order go hitless this year? And then
too many times already.
Yeah, and then what were the results in those games? They lost. So it was interesting to see Ramon Laureano batting leadoff for sure.
Well, even that was like, is the leadoff spot for the Padres cursed? Has anybody done well this year in the leadoff spot?
I don't know.
I mean, yeah, like Laureano. I think Laureano ended up getting a hit yesterday, but he was not great in his first couple of at-bats. Because I saw a lot of people on social media saying, like, we have to keep this Laureano batting leadoff, then Fernando. Look, I mean, at this point, does anybody do well in the leadoff spot for the Padres? Laureano was 0 for 5 yesterday with a strikeout.
Yeah, Laureano definitely earned the right. I believe Craig Stammen said it in one of the pre-games that I heard. He's earned the right to hit higher in the order, for sure.
No, he should be hitting in the top 4 in some particular spot.
Yeah, I don't know if he's leadoff guy material.
Have we tried Jackson there enough yet?
Can't remember the last time Jackson hit leadoff, honestly.
I know he has. Profar was a great leadoff hitter. Yeah, somebody else told me that the other day. My brother told me that the other day. Well, I wonder why he was the good leadoff hitter.
Well,
hey. Laureano was 0 for 5 in the leadoff spot on yesterday. I don't think that's a sign that you have to take him out. I mean, it's not a big enough sample size, but right now, like, you're trying to find a leadoff batter. Like, Jake Cronenworth, not the leadoff hitter. That experiment wasn't very good.
No.
Everybody complains about Fernando batting leadoff. Somebody has to do it. They've thrown Xander Bogaerts up there in the leadoff spot. Like, I don't really know about him batting leadoff. Laureano at least puts together some pretty good at-bats. In terms of, he's always going to see pitches. Even though he went 0 for 5 yesterday with a strikeout, I don't really mind it. I would like to see Ramon Laureano bat leadoff again, but at this point in time, do the Padres even have a leadoff guy? Like, who do you bat leadoff right now? Whoever they have hit leadoff has not done well. The only one that has done remotely well is Fernando, and he's hitting .212 this year. I mean, the averages are still putrid across the board, despite the offense that we've seen out of the Padres the last couple of days. Who should bat leadoff? Well, we'll talk about it when we come back. Try to get a contestant for the Midday Sports Standoff as well. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. The Padres have a leadoff problem? We'll discuss when we come back. Not over yet. Still got another hour. Got 4 segments left before we got Gwen and Chris. And then Padres baseball a little bit earlier of a game today. Obviously, it's a 3:40 start today in Pittsburgh as the Padres take on the Pirates for game 1 of a 3-game series against the Pittsburgh Pirates, as mentioned before. We're giving you, by the way, and a guest a chance to go away with Weezer on their Weezer, the Gathering Tour. Get hooked up with flights, a 2-night hotel stay, a pair of tickets to see Weezer, plus a meet and greet with the band and a signed set list thanks to Live Nation and Crush Music. And all you have to do to enter is listen to us on the Odyssey app. Download the free app, create your account, favorite our station, and listen for an hour to get your daily entry and come back each day for another chance to win. This is a national contest to potentially get you set up with Weezer. We do have a new prize for the month of April. If you take me down in sports trivia, which we want to get to here very momentarily, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. If you can take me down in sports trivia, you'd be qualified for a chance to win a pair of tickets to My Chemical Romance at Petco Park on August 30th. Tickets at Ticketmaster.com. If you could take me down in some sports trivia, you'd be qualified. You get to be the first name in the hopper for this month. The brand new contest just started. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Midday Sports Standoff. Go watch My Chemical Romance, if you will. All right, let's talk about this leadoff situation for the Padres. Now, Frank, during the break, I was pulling up the numbers because we talked about the core 4 and how good they have been in the, over the weekend. And when they do well, the Padres do well, and they haven't had a lot of opportunities to offer all 4 of them to potentially participate in the same game. Now, here's the leadoff situation for the Padres, because I think it's very important in who bats leadoff for the Pods. I don't really think they have a solution right now. Now, my go-to still is Fernando, and I think a lot of people want to see Fernando hit lower in the order because of getting guys on base, yada, 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 yada. I just don't see many situations in which you have a better leadoff hitter than Fernando. And it might just be a leadoff situation in general. In 9 games this season, again, this is all a small sample size, but this is what you need to know about the leadoff spot for the Padres. In 9 games for the Pods, the batter that has led off the game for San Diego in the 9 at-bats that they have had, they're 0 for 9. The Padres leadoff hitter for a game, 0 for 9, 2 strikeouts. So whoever bats leadoff today, which I haven't seen a lineup yet, which is interesting because the game starts at 3:40. If the leadoff guy of the game today, whether it be Fernando, Ramon Laureano, Jake Cronenworth, those are 3 of the guys that have hit leadoff so far this year. Maybe it's Xander Bogaerts. Next player for the Padres to lead off a game with a knock will be the first Padre this season to lead off the game with a knock, or at least lead off the game getting on base. Padres have not had a single leadoff man start a game, whether it be the home team or the away team, whatever it may be, getting on base in the first inning. To lead off an inning, here's the other thing that's interesting too. So like after you bat a guy leadoff, you're going to have different players throughout the game leading off an inning. Well, the Padres this season, again, it's a small sample size. The Padres this season, leading off an inning, are 15 for 75. That's a 200 batting average. And it's not like they've walked either. They've only walked 4 times to lead off an inning. That's a 241 on base percentage, a 574 OPS, which again, you don't need necessarily. It's not like you're going to have super heavy power numbers to lead off an inning. But 17 strikeouts to 4 walks. That's not really getting an inning off started well. In terms of overall leadoff hitters, there's been 3. Fernando, Jake Cronenworth, Ramon Laureano. Collectively in 9 games, They are 4 for 36 in the leadoff spot. That's a 111 average with a 179 on base percentage and a 318 OPS. That is terrible. That is terrible. 8 strikeouts, 3 walks for the leadoff men on this team. Fernando has done the best. He's hitting a $143 leading off this season. Wow. Jake Cronenworth is 1 for 10. And Ramon Laureano, again, in only 5 plate appearances and 5 at-bats, which was yesterday, he's 0 for 5. So the leadoff spot this year has accumulated 5 runs, 4 hits. They have 1 extra base hit. It was Fernando's double that he hit in the 9th inning on Saturday. And they have a 372 OPS. They need way more production out of the leadoff spot, at least getting on base. In fact, if you looked at the rest of the lineup, they're tied for second worst, the leadoff spot is, in terms of walking and getting on base. They have the second worst on base percentage out of any spot in the Padres batting order, the leadoff spot. So at this point, maybe it's a leadoff problem for the Padres more so than who the leadoff hitter is, because when you look at leading off an inning, when you look at leading off a game, when you look at batting first in the order, Frank, that's not really good numbers for a team that needs to get things going early and often in innings.
No, it isn't. And this is the whole argument that we've had is, oh, well, you want to bet Fernando first, you want to have him second, you want to have him coming up with runners on base. It's kind of hard to have him coming up with runners on base in the first inning, especially if there are guys not getting on in front of him. So it just has not been good from that number 1 spot in the order at all this year so far.
I wouldn't mind. I mean, it's only been 1 game, so we can't say that Ramon Laureano can't bat leadoff. I would not mind Ramon Laureano batting leadoff again and just seeing what it looks like, because he does see a lot of pitches. He does see a lot of pitches. He does work counts. He does have good at-bats. I mean, I could see, and he's a scary hitter, and probably one of your scariest hitters right now on the Padres. I wouldn't mind seeing him bat leadoff again. Just try it out again. Because you got to find somebody to bat leadoff. You got to find somebody to get the inning going. And if it's not the leadoff spot, you definitely need to do a little bit better in terms of leading off innings. And we haven't seen that out of the Padres yet. We haven't seen the Padres, put pressure early on in the contest in any inning. Now, we do have a Pirates lineup. The Pirates do have their lineup out. The Padres do not yet. We will see what happens with the Padres and we'll report for you when they do put out a lineup. But I think we have a contestant for the Midday Sports Standoff. Let's get to it. Try to get somebody qualified to win My Chemical Romance tickets.
Welcome to Midday Sports Standoff on the Braden Surprenant Show.
I can't believe what I'm seeing right now.
The ultimate head-to-head battle where sports knowledge and quick thinking collide.
No, it's no good. Are you kidding me?
Contestants will go toe-to-toe with Braden in a sports trivia deal where every correct answer brings them closer to victory.
Down the sideline! Wow! Unbelievable!
But 3 strikes and it's game over.
This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
Can you outsmart Braden? The Midday Sports Standoff starts now.
All right, Frank, who we got playing today?
We have Johnny in San Diego today. Johnny, how you doing today, bud?
I'm good. How about you?
Good. All right. So not many answers here. So we're going with points on this one. The Pittsburgh Pirates have been to 7 World Series and have faced 5 different opponents. Who are the 5 different opponents? Now, to give a hint here, 2 of the teams, quote, no longer exist, quote unquote. If you give me their current names, then you will still get the point. So these teams no longer exist, but they now exist under new names. So they've relocated. So If you give me their current names, you will get the point. Johnny, you have the first guess.
Astros?
It's a solid guess, but they have not played the Houston Astros in the World Series.
Well, I think an easy guess to get things going is there's been a team that's won 27 championships. I'm sure they've rolled into the Pirates once or twice. The Yankees.
They have played the Yankees twice in the World Series. So that's
lead.
2 points for Braden. They won in 1960, 4-3, and they lost in 1927, 4-0. Johnny?
Red Sox.
That is one of the teams that no longer exist. The Boston Americans is who they played. It's a 1-point win. They played them in 1903 and lost 5-3 in a 9-game series.
The Boston Americans. I think one of their more recent ones, they played Baltimore. They played the Orioles. Wow.
Yep, and that's going to be the 2 points there. So Braden's got 4 points here. They played Baltimore in 1971 and in 79. They won both of those series 4-3.
Wow, that's interesting. What are the... Did I win? That's over now?
Yeah, that unfortunately it is over. Johnny, you
both
cannot,
of the double ones.
Yeah, you cannot you can't beat him here. He's got 4 points. The most you can get now is 3. So unfortunately, Johnny, math does not check out for you.
I need to get 2. That's money.
There's
That's
only
money.
There's 2 left here if you'd like to take a guess.
Or are they around anymore?
Oh, John, yeah. Yeah, Johnny, if you want to, you're more than welcome to take another guess if you'd like.
White Sox.
They have not played the White Sox in the World Series.
Is this team still around?
One is under a new name.
You want to give me a division?
Both American League Central.
They're both in the American League Central?
They are.
Tigers. Wow.
They played the Tigers in 1909 and won 4-3. Johnny, want to take a guess at the last one?
The Dodgers.
No, unfortunately not.
I know.
I have no idea. They don't exist anymore?
They do not exist anymore.
You already said the Boston Americans, which is Boston
American League Central.
I mean, Milwaukee used to be in there.
Nope.
Current American League Central?
Yes.
The Twins. Are you kidding me?
They were the Washington Senators in 1925 when they played the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Wow.
And they won 4-3.
You know my favorite part
Pirates have won all of their World Series in Game 7.
That's pretty cool. It's probably even cooler now for the whoever's alive that watched those.
1979 wasn't that far away, dude.
But it is pretty far away. It is pretty far away. I was meaning more of the 1900 whatever.
Oh, yes.
Anyway, let's get to my favorite part about playing the Pirates. You want to know what my favorite part about playing the Pirates is?
Go ahead.
We get to hear pirate music now for the next 3 days.
Oh, gosh.
Their organist just plays pirate music. That's great. It's like the first day, you're like, oh, this is awesome. Second day, you're like, and then third day, if the Padres are getting their ass kicked, you're like, I'm so tired of the pirate music.
This is less cool. Third day, I am never watching Pirates of the Caribbean ever again.
Yeah, Pirates of the Caribbean no longer. Although they play music more from like Muppet Treasure Island than like Pirates of the Caribbean. What do you do with a drunken sailor? What do you do with a drunken sailor? What do you do with a drunken sailor early in the morning? I feel like I'm on a field trip to the Maritime Museum. Back when you had to learn, did you have to do that in 5th grade? Were you out here in 5th grade?
I was not out here in 5th grade.
In 5th grade, we did like the was it colonial stuff, I think, and like I remember we did a field trip down to the
Star of India.
It was the other. It was the Maritime Museum, which is like hooked up with that. So we didn't go on the Star of India. We went on the other one. We went on the ship that was in Master and Commander that's down there.
Okay.
And I remember you had to like talk. It was like you had to learn how to talk like they did back in the day, like starboard side, stern, all that stuff, and like sixpence and all that stuff. And then like they taught us the songs, and that was like one of the songs. But that's like the songs they play on the Pirates organ. So the cool things about playing the Pirates, you get to hear pirate music on an organ, whether you like it or not. And you get to see Pirate Parrot walking around. Pirate Parrot's pretty money. He's up there in mascots for sure. That's an all-star break segment for us. We got one planned for you with the Pirates. If I see anybody else in the YouTube chat give the joke that Go Aztecs just put in there, they're going to be banned permanently. How great was Randy Vasquez over the weekend? We'll look at his analytics when we come back. Broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios, we know how. Padres don't have a lineup out yet. Game will start at 3:40 p.m. Pacific time, so a little East Coast trip. Earlier baseball than what we're used to, obviously. The next 2 days will be at 3:40, and then is the game at 9 on Wednesday?
Whatever I have on the sheet.
I think it's usually that early when they play in Pittsburgh. Yeah, 9:35.
Yeah.
We got Padres and Pancakes with Sam Levin on Wednesday. I will not be here. That's the case.
No, we will not be here.
Oh, you didn't hear? You gotta help Sam out.
That's cool.
Sam specifically requested you to do the pregame show.
That was stupid
on Wednesday. So you guys can talk about the Mets.
That was very dumb of him.
All right, let's dive into what is going on. Padres do not have a lineup out yet. Interesting. 3:40 start. It's 1 o'clock. No lineup yet. What's going on? You know what? Stammen put out the lineup so early on the other 2 days on some of the other games that we have now grown accustomed to expecting it. I will say this, though. Every time it takes a little bit to put a lineup out, sometimes a roster move needs to be made. What's interesting is we already got our game information from the Padres in terms of like the game notes and stuff. They usually don't send that out until the lineup's out. So maybe they're highly contemplating who to bat leadoff. It's possible. I want to talk a little bit more about Randy Vasquez from the weekend. And we're going to continue to recap exactly what happened over the weekend. I mean, there's a lot of other things that you can point to. But a couple of things from the game yesterday in particular that we still haven't had time to talk about because we've had so much going on the show today. But they just showed the highlight on MLB Network. Is there anybody in baseball? I'm going to ask this question out loud. Go ahead and interrupt me, Frank, if you believe there be an answer to this. Is there anybody in baseball that's got a better baseball IQ than Manny Machado? Manny's got a pretty high baseball IQ. I mean, you could talk about it in different ways. You could talk about it yesterday specifically with his approach at the plate. You could talk about his... I don't think anybody is more savvy on the base pass than Manny Machado in Major League Baseball. I didn't say fast. I said savvy.
I think that's fair to say.
His plate approach. He saw only one pitch near the zone and homered on a pitch outside the zone in that big home run that he had for the Padres yesterday. His kick save, as Nate Taylor in the YouTube chat said, that was a thing of beauty. I agree. He accidentally kicked the ball on a pickoff attempt leading to runs. That was a smart move on his part. And by the way, to any Red Sox fan complaining about that would be something you would talk about. You would be bragging and talking smack about how genius your player was if he did that. And I also agree, at the same time, if you're a Padres fan, I'm sure if another team did that against you, you'd be upset about it. I thought that was like just high-level IQ. Look, man, you want to throw the ball in the dirt? Don't throw it there. Be a lot better. I mean, it's the funnier. I agree with I Need Money in the YouTube chat. I Need Money in the YouTube chat, who's watching us live on YouTube right now, goes, that clip of him kicking the ball is funnier and funnier the more you watch it. He said, nah, bitch. That's exactly what he said. It goes, all right, the sinister kick. The sinister kick. That was a great heads-up play right there. I don't think it was... Now, anybody's like, oh, it's dirty. It's not dirty. There's nothing dirty about that. It's a little bit of gamesmanship, I would say. I wouldn't really dabble into it being Bush League. I mean, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate for the Red Sox, but it ended up leading to a couple of runs from the Castellanos knock. That's a high baseball IQ play by Manny Machado. I love that. You don't want it to get kicked? Don't throw it in the dirt. Throw a good strike down to first on a back pick. I will say this: it would be dirty if he like cleated Contreras and stuck his cleat in the guy's Achilles when he's trying to field the ball. That'd be dirty. That would be high level IQ. But to go in front and just kick it away, It's a high-level play right there. It's in the same category as, did you see that? It was a couple of years ago, Frank. Did you see that college baseball player that it was runners on first and second with one out? He was the runner on second. It was a ground ball to shortstop, which could be an inning-ending double play. He just fielded the ball and ran off the field.
Yeah. I think I vaguely remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, he just stepped in front, picked up the ball, took his out, because as soon as he gets hit, it's a dead ball. The batter gets to reach first, and now you have runners on first and second. There's no double play. Is it unfortunate? Yeah. But you know what? It's a high-level IQ play for a baseball player. I love that move out of Manny. Led to a couple of runs. Ended up leading to a victory for the Padres. I mean, I will tell you right now, they booed Fernando a little bit at Fenway Park. And he was always going to get booed because of the steroid thing, right?
They still hate Manny out there, for sure.
It was nothing compared to the boos towards Manny Machado. And I had to explain that to my, not my brother knew about it, but like I had to explain it to my sister and my parents about the booing of Manny Machado. It's just like they still boo him for the 2017 Pedroia slide. It's interesting. Like Jackson Merrill grew up respecting his competitive edge despite the incident too, as a growing up a Red Sox fan and also not liking Manny Machado. But I liked his IQ and his selectivity over the weekend. And I think you see it on a daily basis every time he runs the bases. I mean, the thing with Manny Machado, he wows you in so many different ways. He is always wowing us on defense, even though he's had a little bit of a rough start to the season in terms of defense. He's made a couple of errors early in the season that has been very non-characteristic. I mean, you could talk about his defense. You could talk about his ability to swing the bat and how pretty it is to watch him, kind of get that lean bat flip going on home runs that he knows he absolutely clobbered. There's something about that, but I think there's something else in finding the joy, the experience of watching him run the bases and do it in an intelligent way and understanding the different quirks of running the bases. I mean, he is just such a heads-up baseball player. It's fun to watch. It's really fun to watch. Now, in terms of the weekend, it's just going to lead into our next level of discussion here in a second. But the pitching matters for this team. It leads to victories. Now, the Walker Buehler situation was not great. And the Walker Buehler situation is interesting because he has continued to look really good in the first two innings he pitches. This is even dating back to spring training, and then just completely lose command in the third. He had strong 2 innings and his outing yesterday, and then in the third, just command, just awful. Gave up 4 runs. He's experimenting with new arm angle with his low 90s fastball mix. I mean, that's something obviously he needs to try to figure out. But I'm going to tell you right now, like him and Herman Marquez, and I talked about this coming out of spring training, they are the definition and the prime example of you don't have to outrun the tiger, you just have to outrun your friend. I mean, Walker Buehler right now is just doing better than Herman Marquez. I mean, it's just going to buy him a little bit of time. But his time is running out, and running out quickly. If he cannot give you 5 innings and 3 runs or less. I said that after his first outing, he gave you 4 with 3 runs or less. You can tolerate that, but you really needed a 5th inning out of him. And then he follows that up by going, 2 innings, 2 1/3 or something like that from yesterday, and ends up giving up 4 runs. I ain't going to work. You ain't going to be around much longer if you continue to pitch like that. Not with Griffin Canning expecting to come back, and not with Matt Waldron knocking on the door. Look, Matt Waldron could come back and immediately insert himself in the final spot of the rotation for Herman Marquez, but then they're going to have to make a decision with Griffin Canning. And sure, yeah, Walker Buehler could theoretically outpitch a Matt Waldron. You might be able to sneak Matt Waldron through waivers if you get rid of him to buy Walker Buehler a little bit more time, but his time's running out if he does not give you at least 5 innings in his next appearance. You can't win with that. I said it after his first outing. You can work with 4 innings, 3 runs or less. You really want it to be 5. You can't work with what you had yesterday. We did finally get a lineup. We're going to talk about that in a second. Now, bullpen management out of Craig Stammen. I think overall, Frank, this has been interesting watching Craig Stammen manage the bullpen. I think his hands are tied a little bit, not having Jason Adam out there. I think some of the decisions have been interesting, but he's going to be learning on the fly. Now, key relievers are missing and injured. Jason Adam, limited Adrian Morejon right now because he's been used a lot. They don't want to burn him out at this particular time in the season. And Stammen has had to mix and match under pressure. Wandy Peralta gave up 2 doubles to tie the game. Jeremiah Estrada and Mason Miller locked it down late, but the depth and adaptability in the bullpen are vital, and injuries are definitely creating opportunities for lesser-known arms to step up. My biggest question with the bullpen, though, what's going on with David Morgan? Do we have any reports on David Morgan? Did I miss anything when I was in Boston for the last 3 days?
He was warming up yesterday.
We haven't seen David Morgan in 5 days.
It's probably because he pitched 5 of the first 6 games.
He pitched like almost every game.
Yeah.
If you look at the bullpen breakdown going into today of like who's been used and who has not been used, Morejon had yesterday off. Marinaccio had 2 days off. David Morgan has had the last 5 days off. You have not seen him in 5 days. That's why it's curious. I'm curious to see like why he hasn't pitched a ton. I don't know. I don't understand. I mean, I thought there was a couple of opportunities over the weekend they could have used David Morgan. But and maybe I'm wrong. Did he pitch on Friday? I was out and around.
He was warming up yesterday. I distinctly remember watching him warming up yesterday. He was going to go into yesterday's game.
According to the last 5 days, he had not pitched on the pitch breakdown. I'm double checking Friday. Did he pitch on Friday? He did not pitch on Friday. Marinaccio pitched Friday. He hasn't pitched in 5 days, at least. Did he pitch on Wednesday last week? I mean, it's been a long time since we've seen David Morgan. That's why I was curious why. I mean, I'm sure it's probably extra workload early in the season, but he had Thursday off too. Wednesday against the Giants, I don't remember seeing him pitch, but I could be mistaken. I don't think he did because I think Wandy Peralta pitched. David Morgan did not pitch on Wednesday against the Giants. We have not seen David Morgan since, I would assume, now I'm assuming it was Tuesday, March 31st, which could be the only other day that he would have pitched. And he probably did because I think Marquez did not do well. David Morgan threw an inning on Tuesday, March 31st. He's almost spent an entire week where he has not pitched. That's why I'm shocked with the bullpen. They have not used David Morgan yet. They did not use him over the weekend once.
He has not pitched in the month of April. His last outing was he pitched on the 26th, 27th, and the 30th and 31st.
So maybe you'll see him today. Maybe it's because he's young and they don't want to, they limit the amount of times that they use him early in the season. I just feel like you've used Wandy Peralta a lot when you could have used, in my opinion, David Morgan a couple of times. And I know it's the lefty thing. I don't know why you would continue to have Wandy Peralta be like a lefty specialist when he's not necessarily that great against lefties. But yeah, David Morgan, I haven't seen him in almost a week, which I thought was interesting. But in terms of like the bullpen and how he's managed the bullpen, I think it's a lot of trial and error with Greg Stammen. I mean, and again, I think you have to believe in some of the guys that you've paid money to go out there and believe in. And unfortunately for the Padres, they just can't really throw Wandy Peralta out there in high leverage situations. I don't think so. I think it should probably be something else, be somebody else instead. But I don't necessarily know. I'd continue to throw Wandy Peralta out there. But we'll see with Jason Adam potentially coming back tomorrow. We'll wait for some reports, obviously, from the Padres beat writers if they see Jason Adam in the clubhouse or what have you. But I think he's eligible to come off the injured list tomorrow because that would be 10 days. Actually, it's a 10-day IL, right? It's already been 10 days. They had the off days. Makes sense. So he could be eligible to come back. So we'll see what the report is on that. I think that changes a lot of the bullpen though when Jason Adam comes back, because I think it frees up Morejon to do other things, and then you can go with Jason Adam as a setup man instead of Morejon being the lefty and setup man. I don't necessarily know if I'm comfortable putting Kyle Hart back there yet. I think he's earned an opportunity, but I don't know how many of those you want to use in high leverage with Kyle Hart, especially since he's on the team to be a long relief guy. So we'll see how the bullpen plays out. How about Nick Castellanos over the weekend? He had 4 starts in 9 games. First start at first base yesterday. Also played left field in his DH so far this season. His adjustment, he says he feels like a rookie, splitting prep time for multiple positions. He's 3 for 16. He's adjusting to a pinch hitting and rotational starts. But he had a pretty good knock yesterday. That was good to see out of Nick Castellanos as he tries to, reinvent himself here with the Padres. I didn't mind the usage of Nick Castellanos, and I know it didn't work out for the Padres on Saturday. I liked him coming up. I felt confident in the Padres with Nick Castellanos coming up as a pinch hitter in late innings compared to some of the other options that they have on the bench, Frank. I didn't mind it. I know he struck out on 3 pitches, but that's a role he's going to have to get used to. I don't mind him in that role.
He also had a solid hit yesterday as well. So, I mean, it was going to be very, very up and down. We knew that, especially with Nick Castellanos, because he's not going to be playing every single day, and you're also not sure what you're going to get out of him. So, yeah, I don't really have all that much of a problem with what Nick Castellanos has done so far. I would like to see that might change if he starts to get more of an everyday role, but he hasn't had that. He's been very start-stop. He's been very in and out of that lineup. So it's an interesting conversation for sure.
The other interesting conversation, I think, is the catching role. It's good to see Luis Camposano get on the hit board finally, right? I mean, it was a clutch hit again for him to was that Friday that he got that knock?
Campy?
Yeah,
that was Friday.
It's good to see he's starting to hit a little bit now, which is nice. But a lot of supporting performances out of the Padres over the weekend. Gavin Sheets, and I was ready to just be like, you got 2 weeks, buddy. If you don't turn things around, I mean, we got to make some decisions here. But Gavin Sheets is really starting to settle in, which is good after a really tough start to the season. He had a pinch hit double in yesterday's game that ended up leading to a big insurance run. He's been agile base running. He extends his hitting streak now, dating back to last week at the end of the homestand. And that really shows the depth on the bench. I mean, I like Gavin Sheets coming off the bench more than I like him maybe in a starting spot more times than not. Tatis had the sacrifice fly. Again, these small contributions that lead to a victory yesterday. Fermin and Camposano have split the catching duty, which is balancing the offense and the defense. You saw Fermin come in late yesterday to close out the game from a catching perspective with Mason Miller. And as Kevin Acee noted out in his newsletter, cold, rainy conditions did not stop production yesterday, which shows you the mental toughness factor. I'm telling you right now, I was freezing my ass off. It was freezing. It was something I didn't want to go out there and try to swing a bat and get sawed off because that was going to hurt. I'm telling you. The weather in Boston was frigid. It was a little bit better on Friday. Saturday, freezing at Fenway Park. Sunday, also freezing and raining. I understand maybe why production would have been down. Now, lineup flexibility and stamina strategy. What has the lineup flexibility been? What is the lineup today? And what has Craig said his strategy is? We'll talk to you about it when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. Sending Summer Sports Station 97 to the Fan. August, join us on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not Big Bank Banking, it's better. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Padres and Pirates, oh my, will be underway at 3:40. EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show at 2:40. So we got a very quick Gwynn and Chris today. I'm assuming we have Gwynn and Chris today, do we not? We're not going to 2:40 today, are we?
No, and Scraby was here at like 1:20 or 12:20 when I went over there.
He's going to spend more time here off the air than he's going to be on the air.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Anyway, so Gwynn and Chris are coming up next, and then it will be the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show with Sam Levitt as the Padres will try to win 3 games in a row. This is called a winning streak. Got to get that one in there. All right. We got the lineup for today. We're going to get to it in a second. But Kevin Acee mentioned in his daily newsletter that there has been lineup flexibility, and he talked to Craig Stammen, and Craig Stammen gave a little bit of the strategy in terms of building the lineup. Now, they have shuffled the top 9, if you will, the 9 guys in the order. 4 leadoff hitters, 3 second and third spots, 2 cleanup hitters, and 6 in the 6th spot. And the goal is to find the best mix while testing flexibility early in the season. And the impact on that is players like Sheets and Tatis taking advantage of opportunities. Now, they are going to be continually tweaking this throughout the first couple of months of the season, it sounds like. Maybe the first couple of weeks, maybe and more so the months, to try to find the right mix. We talked about it a little bit earlier in the show that the Padres might have a leadoff problem because they can't seem to get any type of production at the leadoff spot, whoever it may be. I didn't mind the idea of putting Ramon Laureano there yesterday, and today it's a little bit of the same for the Padres in terms of Ramon Laureano batting leadoff. So today's lineup, and this lineup is very similar to yesterday's lineup. Very similar to yesterday's lineup. Now, leading off for the Padres playing left field is Ramon Laureano. That's how it was yesterday. Batting second in right field, Fernando Tatis Jr. He looked a little bit more comfortable batting second yesterday than he did batting leadoff the days before. Jackson Merrill in the 3 spot. I like that as well. Center fielder for the Padres. He really had a great day yesterday after having the day off Saturday. He did come in defensively Saturday, but he'd been struggling against lefties, but he's batting third today for the Padres, playing center field. Manny plays third base, bats cleanup. Xander Bogaerts batting fifth, playing shortstop. Gavin Sheets bats sixth. He plays first base today. He gets to start at first. Nick Castellanos, the DH, bats seventh. Freddie Fermin bats eighth and is the catcher. And Jake Cronenworth bats ninth and is the starting second baseman for Edman Marquez. I like Jake Cronenworth batting ninth. In fact, that of all the mixes that you continue to do, of all the mixes you continue to float around and throw together, I think you're starting to see some guys in certain spots do really well. I like Jake Cronenworth in the 9 spot because he's going to see pitches down there. He's going to help set the table. He's going to have some protection from behind him with the top of the order up. I like Jake Cronenworth in the 9 spot. I would not move him outside of that spot ever. If you want to move him to 7th, fine.
I wouldn't either, honestly.
But at this point in time, Frank, if I look at like how I would establish the lineup of who has earned their spots and who is not and what have you, I think Jake Cronenworth fits the best for the 9 spot for the Padres. I like the catcher batting 8th. I really, whether it's Freddie Fermin or Luis Campusano, I like him batting 8th. And then in the middle is where you get a little bit interesting. Like, I think the top 4 batters on this team are Laureano, Tatis, Machado, and Merrill. I don't think there's anybody better than those 4. Those are the 4 best hitters on this team. I think any type of order you want to put those 4 in is fine with me. You want to have Merrill bat leadoff? Have Merrill bat leadoff. You want to have, you know what? Why not have Machado bat leadoff? Might as well throw it out there. I'm not actually advocating for that, but what I'm saying is I think you can't really go wrong with any of those 4 guys in any of the 4 spots at the top. So those 4, I think, need to play every day, and they need to be in the top 4. I don't necessarily know what I would do with Xander. I don't know what I'd really do with Sheets or Castellanos or Andujar. The middle portion, to me, is the biggest question mark left in this lineup, because I think you got your top 4 every single day in some type of order. I think you have your number 9 hitter in Jake Cronenworth, and I think you put the catcher 8 And after that, I think it's really kind of up in the air. And honestly, right now, I'd probably have Sheets bat fifth just because he's been hitting better as of late than Xander Bogaerts. But out of the Xander Bogaerts, Nick Castellanos, Gavin Sheets, Ty France, Miguel Andujar situation in the middle that's like righty-lefty dependent, I think whoever's swinging the hot hand is going to bat fifth, and whoever's not swinging the bat well is batting seventh. That's kind of how I see this lineup shaping up right now, Frank, when it comes to where you're at. I think it's starting to solidify in certain spots.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what you're going to see as the season goes on. You're going to see guys start to fit in, and you're going to see guys who need to get more playing time. And that kind of fills out your lineup depending. So I agree with you. I do like Jake Cronenworth batting ninth. I like Fernando batting leadoff, honestly. I would like to see Jackson Merrill hit second. That would be kind of like I think that would be the best top three that they could put out there.
I like Fernando, Merrill, and Laureano, and then Machado. We haven't seen that yet, but I'd like to see that.
I would like to see Manny bat third in that case, but either way is fine. But yeah, I mean, I haven't had too much of a gripe with any of the lineups that have been put out, and they've all been different every single day.
The only gripe I had was Miguel Andujar batting third, but guess what? He's on the team to hit lefties. There it is. He's done well. Miguel Andujar's done very well. It's been a nice little pickup so far for the Padres, especially against left-handed pitching.
Told you guys were going to like him.
Yeah. So they got to get Castellanos going. Fermin needs to get going again. He's put together some good at-bats, though. At least he walked a little bit. I mean, his on base was a little bit. It's gotten higher. I mean, Jake Cronenworth struggling. Fermin struggling. Castellanos 188. Bogart's back to 200. Machado hitting 222. Fernando hitting 212. Here's like my thought process. By the way, I texted you this multiple times. I have to ask the question right here. Does anybody actually like their favorite baseball team, whoever that may be? I think we've determined that baseball fans hate their baseball team. I mean, I was walking around Boston on Friday after the game got let out. And again, we didn't go to the game on Friday. We did some like touristy things on Friday. But like Red Sox fans after the win were pissed. They still hated their team. They were like upset that they won. Padres fans have been consistent. I mean, the first like week, brother, just take a deep breath. And then you start looking at other people's like Twitter accounts, social media. Maybe it's just social media is just angry. But does anybody actually like their favorite team? I mean, I know people that like the Dodgers that hate the Dodgers right now. It's not good enough for them. Does anybody like their favorite team? I have to throw it out there. I mean, I think there's a difference between holding your team accountable and just being upset for no reason. Just being upset to be upset, if you will. But for all of the people after Friday's game when things were bleak, you were in last place in the National League. Oh, how different 2 games makes it. The Padres are in last place in the National League on Friday. They're now in second place in the National League West today on Monday. And if they win again today, it'd be back to 500, which would be great. Again, off to a slow start. But I was asking this question. And then on top of that, the other question I wanted to ask was, here, let me ask you this, Frank. I know you're busy. But do we think Fernando's going to end the season in 212? Do we think Manny Machado's going to end the season hitting 222? Do we think Xander Bogaerts going to end the season hitting 200? A lot of, disgruntled fans that don't like Xander might say that, but we on the show don't. Does anybody think Nick Castellanos, I mean, maybe, but do we think Freddie Fermin's going to hit $118 the rest of the year?
When are you going to realize, dude, that these players are just washed? Like,
everybody's
when are you going to
washed.
finally realize that?
Everybody sucks. Trade them all. I mean, I'm just saying, like, at this point in time, do we honestly think that all of these guys are going to suck the entire year?
Yes.
Just all going to historically have career awful years. I mean, even the guys that are doing well, like Merrill's like doing well right now. He's got off to a not as great of a. Do we think he's going to hit just 250? I mean, come on. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. When we come back, I'll get to it. We'll talk about Randy Vasquez, how he did over the weekend. I think he has, put himself into a great position to be a number 2 in this rotation, maybe even better. I mean, he has been great in his first 2 starts. What's been the difference? We'll explain that next and get you a preview of Padres and Pirates when we come back to finish the show. Braden Surprenant Show, Static Summer Sports Station, 97 through the Fan. Well, that was a fast show. Did we get a final consensus on what the worst fast food vending machine would be? I thought I threw it into ChatGPT. They got too specific. I'm talking about like what would be the most disgusting thing to buy from a vending machine fast food wise.
Long John Silver's, I think, is the winner there for me.
What does Long John Silver's even have? Like a fish basket?
Yeah, I would not want fish that has been pre-cooked, that has been sitting in a vending machine for God knows how long.
Here's the thing, though, with the long... Here's why it wouldn't be that gross. You want to know why it wouldn't be that gross? Because, like, Long John Silver's has probably a bunch of, like, frozen fish sticks. You could leave it frozen, and then you could just heat it up real quick. So it's not like you have... It's not like it's fresh fish. It's all fried fish.
No, I understand that, but how long do you think it'll be sitting in that vending machine? And...
No. What I'm saying is you make the vending machine a freezer.
How long do you expect people to stand there waiting for fish to get heated up?
Man, it's like a air fryer, dude. Get it going.
I have an air fryer.
I'm sure you can make the technology like that.
Air fryers aren't quick.
You can have it running. It's a vending machine. And then you just drop it in there. Here's your shrimp basket. It wouldn't be as gross. It makes sense. Like, I think you're onto something with the Arby's. I think that'd be kind of gross. I think any type of like burrito out of there would end up very poorly for you getting on a plane. Wilbur might be onto it. Pizza Hut pizza with a hot dog stuffed crust that they serve only in Canada. What happens if the vending machine turns off? That's where you get really sketchy.
Yeah.
That's where you get really sketchy.
Vending machines, especially ones in this building, have been known for being very reliable.
Oh, God. Yeah, did you see that the other day? I walked into the kitchen, and there's like water all over the floor, and something smells, and I was like, and the vending machine said out of order. At least it doesn't have any of the food in there anymore.
Yeah.
It's just like soda. You know you can get you can get a slice of cheesecake at Long John Silver's? I just pulled up their menu.
Lovely.
If you got a shrimp basket out of a vending machine from Long John Silver's, you might be crazy. I think you got to try the White Castle.
Just may be a lunatic you're looking for.
Vending machine. Other fast food places I'm thinking off the top of my head. Get Jack in the Box tacos out of a vending machine. Vending machine seafood's crazy. Hey, yeah, here's a lobster roll for you out of a vending machine. No, thank you. No, thank you. I'm glad we got MLB.TV on in here. Finally. By the way, what's with the like Visit Texas ad in Tampa? Is that a big marketing spot for like Tampa?
It's not a nationally televised.
I know.
Game,
it's just on. Well, it's on Marquee. No, that is actually like Tampa. It says "Let's Texas." That's the advertising behind home plate at the Trop is "Let's Texas." Travel to Texas. Hey, Florida. I know it's hot and humid here, but you know what's even better? Being a place that's hot and humid without the ocean. Come out and hang out in the desert with us in Texas. There's no way people take family vacations to Texas unless they absolutely know somebody there or there's a reason to go there sports-wise. Does anybody take a trip to Texas? Like, hey, guys, we're going to plan our trip to Lubbock. What do you think the tourism in Lubbock is like? Probably not great. I tell you what, though, with all like Landman, I'm sure like spiked to the roof with trips to Texas. People are like, I want to see where Landman is. All right, let's talk about Randy Vasquez before we talk about tonight's game. Padres going against the Pirates. We gave out the lineup in the last segment. We'll talk about what the some of the keys of the game are in tonight's game, what we're looking for against Pittsburgh. But this is I thought this was another great outing on Randy Vasquez on Saturday. He went 6 innings, 1 earned run, 6 hits, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. He had 14 whiffs and a 34% CSW, which is a called strike whiff rate, which means, you know, if you look at his overarching picture, he didn't have dominant, overpowering stuff, but he executed and he was crafty. I mean, he is navigating the lineup. It's exactly what he did. You don't have to be like lights out all the time. You don't have to be like just blow away stuff. He pitched to his strengths. Now, in terms of like what he got grade wise from a couple of different metrics, they gave his stuff a C on Saturday. They gave his command locations a B. Overall, got a B ranking. It wasn't necessarily electric, lights out stuff, but he had good command and sequencing to get outs. And it wasn't a sexy start for Randy Vasquez, but some of the biggest talking points when it comes to Randy Vasquez is his command. And can he locate? And he did that on Saturday, and you got to see what he's like when he's executing pitches and being creative and being crafty. Now, he's got higher velo than what he showed. I mean, he showed 93.6 on average, and I think a lot of that had to do with the weather. He had good ride on his fastball, 16.9 induced vertical break, had decent shape to his pitches, but only an 8% whiff rate, and he was hit hard. I mean, his expected slugging given up was 647 from Red Sox hitters, but the fastball definitely set some things up for Randy Vasquez, throughout the outing, but he wasn't really fooling hitters with his fastball, and I think a lot of that had to do with the weather. His fastball was more of a table setter for the rest of the at-bat than it was a weapon. But the real story was the off-speed and what he was able to do with the off-speed. I mean, he's a guy that's definitely getting a lot of ground balls. That gets you to break some bats. I mean, that's not great in the cold weather either. His best pitch on Saturday was his changeup, 42% whiff rate on his changeup. Is that good, Frank? 42% whiff rate on a changeup? Yeah, that's pretty impressive. His called strike whiff rate was 50%. That means half of the pitches that he threw that were changeups were called a strike or the guy whiffed on. And his changeup had a 116 expected slug, which is basically unhittable. They couldn't do any damage with his changeup. That was his out pitch all day on Saturday, which is great to see out of Randy Vasquez. That changeup really working for him. Slider cutter, he had a 50% whiff rate on his slider. That was nasty on Saturday. His cutter saw a 23% whiff rate with a 46% called strike whiff. Got a lot of swings and misses out of those pitches, which helped him escape a lot of trouble. And when he needed a punch out, he didn't go heater. He went soft. He went off speed. I mean, that was great to see out of Randy Vasquez. And he had major splits, righties and lefties. Now, he owned righties on Saturday. Executed well. He got an A+ grade against right-handed hitters. Hit his spots, mixed pitches effectively. But he got absolutely tagged by lefties. Scattered command, couldn't locate consistently against lefties, and gave up more dangerous contact. That's something obviously he needs to work on before his next start. Righties had absolutely no chance against Randy Vasquez. Lefties had a pretty good shot. He looked like two completely different pitchers depending on who was in the box between a righty and a lefty. So that's obviously something that needs to work on going into his next start. In terms of his command and location, overall strike rate was solid at 65%. But if you look at his location charts that have been displayed for his outing on Saturday for Randy Vasquez, against righties, he had really tight command. Against lefties, he had misses all over the place. So when he was on, he was very precise, but when he wasn't, it got loose fast and ultimately led to that one run that he did end up giving up. Everything that we've talked about with Randy Vasquez has been his pitch mix and his pitch mix strategy. It's hard to say pitch mix. Fastball 31% of the time, down versus lefties, up versus righties. Really wanted to work on that sinking action. Used a heavy use of sinker, cutter, changeup, slider in his outing on Saturday. Again, he's got all these different pitches that he can use. And again, that's a big thing for working with Yu Darvish. It's made him a lot better of a pitcher. But he was going heavy sinkers against the lefties, trying to get ground balls, and he was going up in the zone to get above the bats against right-handers that saw that IVB a little bit, saw that ball rise on him just a little bit. But it kept the hitters guessing, not very overpowering. This was very much a keep them off balance outing out of Randy Vasquez, and he was great with it. He succeeded with weak contact and sequencing. He had elite changeup performance. He dominated right-handed hitters, and he avoided big innings. I mean, these are all recipes for success for a guy that came in being your number 4 starter, that got moved up to being a number 3 starter because of injuries, and has now pitched himself to be at least 2 times through the rotation. He has been your best starter. What could have gone wrong for Randy? I mean, his fastball was very hittable. Lefty saw him extremely well. He did only have 3 strikeouts. He wasn't necessarily missing bats consistently enough. And without the sequencing part of the outing, I mean, he could have given up 3 or 4 runs in this particular deal instead of 1. But he bared down, and he had a really good showing. A second great showing for Randy Vasquez. He didn't overpower Boston, but he outpitched them. This was command and feel over the raw stuff. Changeup carried him throughout the entire conversation, throughout the entire contest. Righties were just having fits. And he walked a very tight rope, but he didn't fail. And we've seen Randy Vasquez walk a very tight rope a lot in his Padres career. But I like the adjustments that he has made into this season. He's looked really dominant. I'm sure he's due later on. He's not going to be perfect the entire year, but this is a great start to the season for Randy Vasquez. Let's talk about tonight, Frank. Tonight, they're going against Bubba Chandler.
Mm-hmm.
And Bubba Chandler is the guy that is a young electric arm. He's got really good stuff. He runs in a little bit of danger throughout his outings. And on top of that, this is a bullpen for Pittsburgh that's not necessarily great. So for the Padres, I know it's the key to the game almost all the time, but they got to rack up the pitch count fast on Chandler. They got to get into the bullpen, and they really need Germán Marquez to not give up runs in the first inning.
And that was something that we were discussing towards the end of last week, was that they really need to start getting pitch counts higher. And they did a good job of that on Saturday and on Sunday against Boston. So keeping that momentum up, being able to keep pushing on these starting pitchers to try to force them to get into the bullpen early is going to be huge. And if I remember correctly, Bubba Chandler was a reliever last year for Pittsburgh. So he's making that jump into the starting rotation this year, unless I'm misremembering, which is completely possible. But yeah, I would not be surprised if the Padres started to realize, hey, we got to their bullpen early last night, or these last couple of games, really helped us out offensively. Let's try to keep working with that.
They got to Padres got to keep the offense rolling. Keep the offense rolling. Let's build off of what they had last game against the Red Sox. I mean, they really got to get Chandler out of the game. And the other thing that they cannot do is they cannot give Chandler a 5-run lead. Germán Marquez needs to be drastically better than what he was in his last outing for the Padres. I mean, he labored, and if it wasn't for like Walker Buehler going out early in the Giants series either, they probably could have used more of the bullpen to help out with Germán Marquez. But this to me is the start of whether or not Germán Marquez is still on the team. If he doesn't do well, he's gone. If he does do well, maybe you get him another start, but it's going to be interesting to see with Matt Waldron coming up and Griffin Canning already doing rehab and all that other stuff. So we'll see. Got to go get the win, though. For Frank Marchese, I'm Braden Surprenant. Gwynn and Chris, short show today for the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow.